Good evening, good morning, wherever you are, folks. Good to see everybody in there. Jumping right in, the usual suspects. Doing an audio test on this thing, make sure she is working. Let's see what happens here. Let's see here. Let's see if we can turn up my audio here just a little bit. That might help a little. Testing 1 2 1 2. Good morning, wherever you are, folks. All right. Oh, we're all up in there this time. Oh, let's see. Oh, yeah. Let me just set this thing where I need it so I can see these, so I can see your comments better. Alrighty. Let's see. Who's in there? James Cragen's in there. Adam's in there. Josh D's in there. Douglas D. Let's say Douglas saying, hit that like. I'll be back after my nap. Or, wait, actually, the replay. Oh, I got you. That's good to see you in there, Douglas. Renee Von Oosterhout is in there. What's going on? Mimi Reacts is in there. Good evening, Mimi. Renee Cruz is in there. Let's see. Goat Heart's in there. Mr. Jean Ward's in there. Good evening to you, Jean. Dr. Z Smith is in there. What's going on, Dr. Z? Hey, MG Toe's in there early this time. Sweet. Says thumbs up, everyone. John Beck is in there. What's going on, John? Good to have you in there. Arts and Crafts is in there. Good evening to you. Good morning. I forget where you're at. There's so many of you. It's hard to keep track. Let's see. Pete Ferrero's in there. Limey Watcher's in there. What's going on, Limey? Paul McCoon's in there. What's going on? Good to see you in there, Paul. What else we got here? Let me just, what's up? Figured I'd scare a few people. Let's turn that on. Oh, let's see what we got here. Mars the Second Genesis. What's going on? Good to see you in there. Let's see. I'm trying to make sure I didn't forget anybody here. Don't want to leave anybody out. Yes, Mars the Second Genesis. We are doing well. I hope you're doing well as well. Elaine Millard. Good evening. Good morning. Wherever you're at. I'm doing fine, Elaine. I hope you're doing well as well. Blue Flash. What's happening? Oh, yeah, Blue Flash. You got to go back to the videos I got on there. There's a couple of them we had already thrown on there. So your question was, any anomalies from Perseverance yet? Absolutely. Samantha Morris. Good evening to you. Hello. Allison Erbach. What's happening? Said hi, everyone. I'm just trying to make... Whoop, I love it when it does that. I'm just like trying to creep down, make sure I don't miss anybody, and jumps. Mark's PKS, picking you up in Australia. Good evening to you there down under. Good to see you in there. Andrew Munchkin, what's happening? Good evening to you as well. Rodney Evans, yes, you are a suspect now because you're here live. Let's see. I'm trying to make sure I didn't forget anybody so far. I think that's good. And if I did, please forgive me. Just say hello again, because this thing, like I said, if you've ever done these, all you got to do is scroll down a bit, and it just seems like it just goes, and the list just jumps up like it wants to go right directly to the bottom, and you probably missed about 10, 20 comments, and then you got to go back. That's why a lot of people say, why is he still way back there instead of down at the bottom? Well, I'm trying to make sure I didn't miss any questions or hellos or any of that sort, and that's what happens. Long Island, New York, 1395, what's happening? Good to see you in there. Robert Morgan's in there. What's going on, Robert? I think I said hello to Claire Mead. I could be wrong, but hello. Nathan Bond, what's happening? He said, hi, Chris and everyone. Nacho Libre's in the house. What's going on, Nacho? Let's see. I'm probably gonna butcher your last name, Tim. Vogniox. I'm not even sure if I'm even pronouncing that right. I will just call you Tom Vogue, if that's okay. If I'm pronouncing that part even correctly. I'm sorry if I'm not. Don't mean to butcher it. Olin Creel, what's happening? By the way, I did check out what you said about the link about the book, and like I said, I wrote you back and I said I appreciate that about the mention there. And I didn't find the link though, because you said I might have missed it. I'm not sure what the window was on that, but yeah. So I did check it out. It only shows like a couple of sample pages on there. I couldn't see the link itself for the free online or the ebook, so to speak. So, but still, nonetheless, thank you. 786 Auto, what's happening? Good to see you in there as well. Jerry Lahane's in there. And Jerry Lane says, Woo Guy has an explained propulsion UFO YouTube video this week. Yeah, he does come out with some really cool videos. I think you're talking about Woo Guy. I think you're talking about Cliff High, right? Because he always says like the woo, and then he has whatever. Pretty interesting how he does that. Teeny4 says, good morning. From Australia, I think I said. Where'd it go? It did say it, but it just said message retracted. Not sure what that meant, but I think it said from Australia. So good evening, or good morning to you, I should say. Grant McGowan, what's going on? You said, your latest video, Chris, that's the drone in test flight. Well, see, I think a lot of people, even in that, the comments section I was reading that, and people were saying, oh, well, Perseverance is supposed to have a rover. A drone. Yeah, but the drone here is one single motor, and it's basically a cube, right? It has a single motor with, opposing rotors, and I think they're like 4 feet wide, and it's basically got a camera at the bottom and everything else, where the other one looks like your standard drones. And I know there's quite a few of them out there. The one was like what the hell was it called? A DJM or some weird thing. But they're like $700 just to buy the drone. But they have the 4, propellers or motors or whatever you want to call them, blades on each corner. And then, of course, you got the body. And that's what it kind of looks like. It doesn't look like the actual Ingenuity that's on the Perseverance, that actual helicopter. So, and I tried to explain it in the comment section. That's like, it's totally two different things here. Oh, there it is. Good morning from South Australia. What's going on? I like that again. Yes, Jerry Lahane, yes. That's what I figured. It's supposed to be Cliff High, yeah. Woo Guy. It's like the one old-fashioned Honda. Ooga. Richard Petrozzi, what's happening? Good to see you in there, Richard. Ricardo, I'm sorry. I'm thinking Richard. I've been looking up at the top over here. Let me see here. Did this thing just jump on me again? It did. So as soon as I'm rating it, the thing jumps on me. Anyway, Ricardo, the proper name, just tuned in. What's happening? Well, we just hopped in there ourselves, so you didn't really miss anything. We're just doing the send invite down. Let's see. Disclosure TV's in there. What's going on, Disclosure? Not a whole lot happening here. Just another busy week as usual. So you can see I try to get the videos out for you guys, depending on what time of day it is for you, or evening, whatever it may be. You either got both videos in one day, or you got one in the evening and then one this morning. So depending on where you're at, of course. Gary 420, what's happening? He said, good day, hello. Josh D says, to all my friends and several agencies here, agencies here, let's flag each other as conspiracy theorists and be done with it. Watch and learn. Oh, yeah. And guys, I'm going to do something a little bit different this time. I'm going to go back to a couple. There's like a couple of my favorites that I did in the past. And anybody who's been there for quite a while will recognize these right off the bat. One was like the Sojourner photo, which looked like once you enhance it, it looks like some kind of vehicles of some sort buried, right? And the other one is like a car that looks like it's on a roadway. You can see like a guardrail and everything. Now, is that what these things are? Basically, it's pure speculation, of course. And that's the way it appeared in these photos. So I'll show you those. It's I figure we'll go back in the, jump on the Wayback Machine, so to speak. So I think you'll like it. Yeah, I see you guys. Adam, you were just talking about the latest video, talking about that weird grid or the little dots. It's just weird how they do that. Again, if you put a bunch of those dots in the photo, you're kind of like your eyes are trying to make sense of looking past the dots, right? And trying to see the photo, but that's how it messes with your eyes. So you can actually put a little blur into there. Of course, you don't want to go too crazy with the blur because then you don't see any detail. But yet you're trying to get rid of the dots so it kind of blends in a little bit better. So it's this weird kind of fine line, if you will, to get it just right. And yeah, so you can see it was I wanted it clearer than what I had it in the video, but you can only have it so clear before it's so clear that it just them dots are all over the place and you can't see squat. So we didn't want to do that. So we did our best to try to bring out the anomalies, especially the one on the ground. The other one was evident. You can see that up in the sky. And the other one, of course, is on the ground. It looks like somebody said it looked like some kind of sacrificial kind of table kind of thing. It was like a flat table type thing. But I don't usually see too many rocks actually put themselves together like that on the surface now. Okay, I thought I missed something there. What's going on there, Miss Eard? Good to see you there. Hello, Chris, and all. Disclosure TV. I was distracted with listening to Kill Switch Engage and didn't see the... Oh, yeah. I can understand that. Yeah, you're right about that, Jean. You said, I see the UAE orbiter has arrived at Mars now. Yeah, we're just going to check out all these lovely rocks we have here, guys. That's why I'm saying, this is like a giant family of black ops, if you will, on the black side of these space agencies, right? I mean, think about it. I mean... Because if they were all fighting with each other, one couldn't wait to get there and rat the other one out. Hey, guys, this is what we really found. That's why I get that question every now and then. Why would they, how can all of them be in on it? Well, it depends. If you're spacefaring and you want to see what's going on, and you're part of this now, and of course you got probably like a gag order, everybody's going to just keep it quiet because it's amongst themselves, and they're working with each other to... find anything they have to find. So in other words, let's say they ask the UAE to, hey, you're going to check out the atmosphere a little bit better. China, you're going to go down there and look at this. Russia, you're going to do this with your orbiter, blah, 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 blah. So they have a bunch of eyes and sensors all over this planet while we've got basically wheels on the ground, not boots, but wheels on the ground and cameras and everything else. So you work together. It's as simple as that. And that's why some people will say that. They're like, oh, how can that be? They can't be all in on it. Why not? Why can't they? Sure they can. What's going on there, Les Sweet? Good to see you in there. You said NASA will reveal, I guess it's revealing Perseverance rovers first on Mars today. Yeah, we're just waiting for them to just come out with it, And then, of course, we got the, whatever's supposed to be in that clause in the stimulus package about, I think it's supposed to be in, June or July, right? As far as this, declassification of more of these UFOs or whatever else. I think everybody's kind of waiting for that too, right? Yeah, you're right about that, Jean. You said UAE orbiter has a high-res camera too. Yeah, it's a shame we can't see any of these. Could be great. James Cragen, thank you very much for your support, sir. As usual, he said Chris Julia Gali asked me to say hello to you and all her friends tonight. She apologized because she might not make it, rather. But we'll be on aboard very soon. Well, she's busy, too. She's trying to get that site. She's supposed to be revamping it and have a whole new look and a good vibe to it and everything else. So we're looking forward to that. And she's basically building it behind the scenes. In other words, you can't see the way it is. So kudos to her for taking on such a big task. Because it's not just one little thing, right? She's doing like a multitude of things, if you will. So, yeah, she definitely got her hands full, that's for sure. Not to mention her own life, right? So, yeah. Again, James, thank you. Martin Penn writes in there. What's with the grid, Chris? I know. Here's the funny part. It's either the grid or these little dots all over it. And when you see the crater where the lake was at one point, you can see where all the small dots, and what they are is they're in a shape, like they shape it out, and then they put all these little dots in it. And you can see they're like really condensed in that one particular area. And then, of course, there's more than one area there, right? And it always happens to be in the brighter spots. Imagine that. Anytime they put something highly exposed or, make everything super bright or it's super dark, there's a reason for it. That's why you should go after these things like a pit bull, because you can bet they're hiding it. Hiding something there anyway. Yeah, Mars the Second Genesis. Yep, there you go. You're replying to Mimi. You said if you want rid of the grid, add 0.6% blur, and magically it disappears. It's exactly, well, the dots really don't disappear. They kind of blend in, right? So basically, in a nutshell, it does actually technically disappear. But it gives you just enough. If you put just enough blur in there, you can get rid of that grid. Even the lines, whether it's the dots or the lines, the dots really never quite go away, but there's still a way around it. Because here's the thing. This is what they don't get. I can blur it. But then you go, oh, well, then you're losing out the detail of the object you're trying to show. Well, then on that particular area, we can simply use the sharpen tool. We don't have to do the whole photo. So we can still bring it out one way or the other. And there's many other tricks. So NASA, bite it. Yeah, you can play your games. We play ours. Rock Hits, what's going on? He said, new Rover black and white pics again. I know. Supposedly they're coming out with the much better photos, guys. Well, yeah, we can't wait to see that, can we? I can't wait to see that because right now the pictures are okay. They look okay, but you know as well as I do that they should be much more pristine than that, right? What's going on there, Mervyn Gravel? Good to see you in there. Hi, Chris from Scunthorpe, UK. Great work. Love your channel. Yeah, those grids are annoying. Let's see the truth. Absolutely, man. Again, though, you use any tactic. Black and white, you can't see anything of any color in the background, so nothing stands out, right? Put the lines there, and it'll block out any kind of details. Put dots in there, again, to hide detail. The more you see these things, it kind of messes with your eyes. You can't really concentrate on the rocks, but there's ways around it, like I said. It's not just blur either. There's other ways around it. William Kennedy. He says, hello from Kennedy. Is that the Space Center down in Florida? Mimi, you're right. I keep forgetting that. Why do I keep forgetting that? You said, Chris, it's swamp gas. It's just swamp gas. Yeah, you're right. Okay, let's wrap it up. We're going. Oh. Yeah, it's a special kind of swamp gas, you know what I mean? So, yeah. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Gary Gleed, thank you very much for your support, man. I appreciate you. You said, hey, Chris, 2 excellent videos this week. Great content. Still wondering what the drone thing was in the sky. No, I come to another conclusion because I think it still is this weird drone-looking thing. However, Leatherneck Joe had put another photo on there, and guess what? Remember I said in the video, they'll probably use it as, oh, now it's another artifact? It was also in another one. And I went, oh, here we go. It's not there 9 days, suddenly it's got an artifact in it, right? Does anybody find that a little odd? I can understand if the camera's been on there for a while and, it kind of makes sense. You go, all right. Or is it some kind of weird marker that they go by? Because if you notice, when I zoomed in, you can see like a little X amongst all those little dots. I don't know if you guys noticed that. It's kind of like the crosshairs they use in the Apollo missions where you can see them in the photo. It's like they can tell... I'm sure they can do like a calculation of, okay, how high is the LROC up, which is 75 miles off the lunar surface, and then they can tell by the grid when they put it on there, how big these items are, they can usually tell. Is it something that they're doing that's kind of the same thing? And maybe this drone thing is nothing more than an artifact to that kind of dot thing. Is that a possibility? We'd love to believe it's all like some kind of weird drone thing, but is it weird? Is it also a possibility of that, right? We have to think of all angles because it can't be just all conspiracy, right? And I don't believe that we're conspiracists anyway because we can back a lot of this with fact. So But you still have to keep open mind. You have to look at all angles because, yes, you could very well be wrong. That's all there is to it. And all we can do is speculate on a lot of this stuff. Anyway, you guys know that. So, is it possible? Either way, that thing looks kind of weird and cool at the same time in the sky. And not to mention we get the stuff that's on the surface, right? I had one, not sarcastic remark, but a guy was like, oh, yeah, you use a burn tool on anything, you can bring something out of it. No. If there's lines there that are underneath this manipulation, you can bring the lines out. It has nothing to do with that. This is the reason why you got to go kind of easy on the burning. You don't want to like distort the photo. You just want to bring out the lines. If you do it very lightly, you'll see the line start to come out. Then you can concentrate on that said line. You don't just go full burning and burn the whole photo, because you'll totally distort the photo. But, so I think it's rather funny somebody will come out with that. It's like, until you've seen how they do these photos, they shouldn't talk. I mean, but some people do that. It is what it is, George Mears in there. What's going on, George? He said, hi, Chris, and all great to be here again. Amazing turnout. Yeah, there's always a bunch of good people in here, that's for sure. Let me see. Lee Herring, what's going on? Yes, Jean is in the house. I spoke to him earlier today. He said he will try to join us. He is, in fact, here. Jean is joining us. Bush Corey's in there. What's going on, Mr. Bush Corey? Let me see. Samantha, yeah, you said you saw that little X too. And it wasn't very far, right, from that. We seen that little dot next to that supposed Rover. I was going to say Rover because I'm looking at the Rover on the screen. That drone type thing, and it's not very far from it. Turned out it's one of almost like an X type thing. Well, it is an X. Now, the bottom one, it was so far away you couldn't tell. But I'm going to make the assumption that it was probably one of those little X things too. So, I don't know. It's just really bizarre stuff, and yeah. Kenny Pinkerton, what's going on? He said alien birds. It wouldn't surprise me. How many of you guys think there could be insects either flying or walking on the ground? And do you believe there's any kind of insects flying or birds flying? What do you guys think? Yeah, that is weird, Equalizer. He said, I'm here. Had to search for you again. Weird. Yeah, I mean, and you actually asked that too. You said, you said something about that you had hit the notification bell and all of that stuff. Guys, and I even asked Equalizer this, and he said, yeah, he did all of the not only subscribe and notification, but you'd be surprised. What I asked him was, make sure you're still subscribed, because a lot of people said, man, I thought I was subscribed to you. I know I am, or I was, and suddenly I was not. And this goes on many channels. It's not just here. So just be careful. And if you are subscribed, make sure you do hit that notification bell, because, I don't know what it is. It's almost like they just untick these people. So, in other words, so you don't get the notification, so you don't get to watch it. It's just weird how that works. I don't know. Just more fun and games with good old YouTube, that's all. Oops. Jumped again. Okay. Adam B. said they missed cleaning these pictures ages ago. You know that. Yeah, pretty much. Hello, Chris. This is Ilko. Greetings from Ukraine. Happy to be here. Well, I'm glad you're here there, Ilko. Okay. I guess I'm pronouncing that correctly. It's a little better than that. Trying to pronounce that. But, cool. Good to have you in there. Paulie Mackey said, I only believe in a conspiracy when there is one. Well, I mean, I guess if you're not in the mainstream, in other words, this is not being talked about on the news. This is not being talked on like major, whatever it may be, television, radio, whatever it may be. Then yes, you're considered a conspiracy person or nut job, whatever the hell they want to say. But when you can take a photo and say, yes, I can actually prove that they are manipulating them, censoring them in some way. Is that still conspiracy? No, that's a fact, and we're showing it. I mean, it's as simple as that, right? Adam B. said they pulled my Google and photos. Really? John Pollitt, you said, hi guys, great stuff, Chris. Those dots markers are used in the TV and film industry to register the image in CGI green screen. Yeah, exactly. So I heard that, and I've also heard about, like I said, they can do it like a kind of measuring tool, if you will, because you can go from grid to grid on parts of these. Let's say both of those round circles, one was an X and the other one's an X. They can get a distance. They know maybe the zoom of the camera. They can calculate. They know how big these items are. Yeah. I mean, I'm not surprised at all. Yeah. That's not the first time I've heard that either. Jean, I think I did. You said, did anyone have problems accessing YouTube yesterday? It seemed like it would try to load and it wouldn't. And then you keep trying over and over again. And finally, some of it would load on the side and the rest wouldn't. Is that what you're talking about? Because I know I had that kind of problem before, too. I don't know what the deal was. That my guess, it was either YouTube was glitching up or they're doing some kind of servicing to the servers themselves. That's the only thing I can think of. Because occasionally that will happen. Dr. Z. Smith, you said, absolutely, Chris. Cords Grow, what's going on? Said, folks, when you see a grid on NASA images, it's not obfuscation, it's color encoding. You need to debayer the photos. Yeah, I was going to say that you can use that. That's one of the tools to do it, by the way. And optionally do gamma correction as well. Yeah, there's many ways to do that, and I found different ways to do that as well, like you're saying. So you can, like, denoise, all kinds of different things. You can use different tools to get what you want, but you got to make sure you don't distort it to the point it's like blurry as hell, and of course you can't see any detail by that point, right? Let's see. Funny enough, though, when you said it is color encoding, yeah, on a black and white photo. That's what I thought was amusing. Because I've heard that before, and I've actually read that before, and it's just funny how they say that, because you're going, okay, I get the color encoding thing, but why is it a black and white photo? Funny enough, if you go to the top, if you're in Photoshop, and you go to the photo, and it'll tell you whether it's an RGB, whatever, it's actually an RGB, but yet it's a black and white photo. It's like, figure that out. It's pretty funny. Grant McGowan, you said the burn tool is very useful as it exposes foundations in the soil in most cases. Well, I mean, you can literally go over it real lightly, and you'll actually see the blur marks. It'll actually bring out the blurred areas even better. In fact, I was just doing a photo where I went over it real lightly, and you actually see little square objects inside the blur. So, and the only reason why I could see that is because they were white. They were a lighter color than the actual blur, meaning what they do is they took the brown like surface, and they put that as the blur, but yet it was behind that you can actually see white objects. So yeah. Oh, they're slick. I got to give them that. Mimi said, Chris, I think it could be possible. So yeah, I mean, so you guys believe that there could be like insects? I do. I absolutely believe there could be. How much would a small insect take to have to get off the ground? And, you can almost bet there's at least that on that planet. I've seen, like I said, little dots in the sky. You go, it's nothing more than a burnt pixel or whatever. And that's a good possibility. But when you see a motion blur behind it, you go, okay, maybe it's a small dust particle. Okay, then where's the rest of them? Because if it's that big and it's near the camera and it's that windy, you can bet there's more than one being kicked up. That's not always the case. You always see just a one, something just with a blur. It could be going that way and you got a blur behind it, or going that way and there's a blur behind it, or going upward. You can see it's got a motion blur to it. So you have to say, well, it could very well be some kind of little micron of dust. And you could go with that because it does get windy there, right? But where's the rest of them? Why is it only one solitary, just one little piece of granulous of dirt or dust, right? Yeah, come on. I could believe that if there's a ton of them in front of the camera, I go, yeah, well, it makes kind of sense, right? It's windy. Yeah. Robert Morgan, you said they are using the camera glitch, quote unquote, to degrade the future pictures from the river. Well, yeah, I mean, a lot of you guys have been sending me like these messages saying, oh, yeah, you got to check it out, man. I think they're actually next to a river or something like that, or some kind of body of water. And it could very well be. There could be, even though they landed there, they could still go around. Maybe there's a small lake that just comes and goes. Who knows? I didn't read anything yet that says there's a water cycle in Jezero Crater, or Jezero, depending how you want to pronounce it. I haven't read anything about that. Jean, have you read anything about that? Is there anything, did they say anything about a water, cycle in there? I know in Gale Crater there is, but I'm not sure about this area here. They didn't say anything about that area. I'm just kind of curious if anybody else has read that. What's going on there, Cloak Storm? Usurped. What's going on? Let me see. I think it jumped on me here. Yeah, it is, David. What's going on, Dave? Mars X3D, The Evidence. You guys got to check his channel out. That's what it's called. Mars X3D, The Evidence. You will like his videos. Absolutely awesome stuff. Check his stuff out. If you haven't, I know a lot of you guys are already subbed to him as well. But if you're not, here's an extra channel for you to watch. Mars X3, and put it like a 3D. So you can literally, like the old time you used to be able to cross your eyes a little bit and get everything to like go into one. You get that depth in the photo. That's what he does. And not to mention he brings out these awesome, anomalies that either other fellow researchers and friends of his have done. He brings them to the videos on his YouTube. And, he does a great job of those things, doing commentary and all that other good stuff. Dave's a good guy. If you haven't, checked him out, go subscribe to him. You'll like his stuff. Really good. There is. Blue Flash, you said plants also need oxygen. Well, they actually do have oxygen in there. It's not as dense here as it on Earth, but there is. And if we're going by what NASA says, then, it's very thin. But they've also said that there was no blue skies at all. Well, they do technically say, you don't hear them saying it a whole lot, but they'll say there is blue skies. But they'll say, most of the time it's always dusty. Well, then how do you get somewhat clear photos? When I say clear, I use that term loosely because, you can see it quite well, except for the areas they're trying to block out. And if it's that dusty, to block out the sunlight as far as blue sky, then you'd think you wouldn't have a good photo at all, period. You know what I mean? Because you can bet that a really good camera with really good resolution is going to see this dust really good. And we don't see that. So it's kind of a weird conflicting thing, right? Plants, Olin Creeley said, plants need CO2 and water. Well, Mars is loaded with CO2, that's for sure. So if there's a plant there and a little bit of oxygen, that thing's going to thrive. It's going to thrive. That's what makes me believe there is plant life there too. Of course, I don't know that for a fact, so I'm purely speculating, but yeah. George May said something must have survived on Mars. Oh, I guarantee they're going to find something. I don't care if it's microbial, and that'd be fine too, But if they find microbial, then people are going to go, just like I would. Then if they had microbial now, and Mars was a totally different planet back in the day, then if they had microbial then, they had microbial at that point. If they had it now, they had it then. And if they did, you can almost bet you're going to have micro and macro and so on and so forth. They're not saying it was a lush green planet or anything like that, but they said it was a lot like Earth, which tells me there was a giant ocean here. In fact, I think there's more ocean on Mars than there was here on Earth, even though Mars is smaller, right? I think it's 60% size of Earth, 60, 65, somewhere on there. And so if that's the case, you can bet it was a thriving planet. You can bet on it. And if it's only fossilized microbial life, then it still had life on it, no matter how you look at it, right? I think they're afraid people are just going to go off the deep end and go, yeah, there's life on there. Well, they're going to say there's life if you're telling us it's microbial. But on the other side of the token, like myself, because what we're seeing in these photos, then it wasn't just microbial. There was actually civilization there. So, yeah. Sam McPeak, he said, hi, guys. What's going on, Sam? Inhabit Mars, what's going on? He said, all right, Dave G in the house. All the big guns are in one place. This could be dangerous. Watch out, could be crossfire. No. Yeah. See, Jean, okay, you said, nope, not to my knowledge. Yeah, and I didn't see that either. I didn't read anything about any kind of water cycle there, so I'd be kind of curious. I'm not sure what you're talking about, Adam. You said Google burned me, dude, and the other Mars dude, you know who I'm talking about. He is gone. Not sure who the other one is, but now what are you talking about? I mean, I know they had, what was the name of that thing? You had like your Google part of YouTube, and they'd done away with that a long time ago. Because I know I had all kinds of pictures up there, I had all kinds of stuff, and this is a while back. They literally said, okay, we're no longer going to have this on there, blah, 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 blah. So they shut that part of it down, which was a disappointment because I had a lot of photos where people can just go to and they could look at the photos, and it was totally gone. This was like a couple years ago, though. So I'm not entirely sure or clear what you're talking about as far as the Google burned you. Stephen Grilly, what's happening? Good to see you in there, Stephen. Tony Gibbs is in there. I think I said hi to you, Tony. If I didn't, hello to you. Alien Tenno's in the house. More intelligent life on Mars than in L.A., that's for sure. Justy, you said we should be able one day to compare old Mars civilization to old Earth civilization. Yes. And again, we've said this, and I know you guys have said this yourselves. When we looked at, what looked like, I did one that was supposed to be of Jezero crater before the lander even got there. In other words, the orbiter had seen this, took photos, and it looked like there's a bunch of squares next to each other, and it looked like next to a stream or no stream bed. And you guys were saying, listen, if this was seen from an orbiter looking down to Earth, unmistakable, people would say, yep, ancient structures, they're right there. Comes to Mars, oh yeah, conspiracy theorist. What are you talking about? So how do we go from squares and all kinds of cool shapes to, wow, that's just an ancient civilization here on Earth, and then, these guys are bonkers because they're seeing it on Mars. No, it's on Mars. What category do we put that in? Like I said, Earth, ancient civilization. Mars, no way. So, how does that even work? Our friendly neighborhood thumbs down is here. Good to see you in there. Everybody say hello to the thumbs downer. Jay McGuffey, he said, bit you, man. Bitterman? Oh, let's see. James Cragen says, bang them like buttons, people. Come on, bang, bang. Shoot them up. Oh, more evidence of crazy stuff. Little Tesla there. Bang, bang, shoot them. No, that was, what do you call it? That was Skid Row, I think. Anyway, Casper X, what's going on? Said, hey, Chris. Danny East is in there. What's going on, Danny? Josh D says, about 100 of you need to hit the freaking like button. And guys, if you don't mind, like when you start to watch the newest video, just hit the thumbs up. I mean, it's because I see a whole ton of people watching it, but like quarter thumbs up. I'm like, what's going on here? I always, anytime I'm on a video, I just go thumbs up. I mean, especially it's from somebody I'm already following. It just makes sense. Like I said, I watch a lot of high performance racing videos, and it's an automatic. I just go thumbs up because I know what I'm going to see is going to be actually good stuff. So it's an automatic for me. That's just me, though. I'm not saying you guys got to follow that. I'm just saying, but that's what I do. It just helps with the channel. That's all. Adam B's. I'm drawing a blank. I'm sorry about that. You said he had about 150,000 subs, and he doesn't. And now he doesn't exist. Oh, are you? No, you're not talking about what's his name. You're not talking about. No, because he had like 2 million. So it's not him. Actually, maybe because I got so much stuff on my mind. Michael Ferdinand, what's going on? Hey, brother, long time. So happy I was able to catch chat. Yeah, good to have you in there, Michael. Good to see you in there. Oops. He jumped down again. See, everybody's saying hello. Even Disclosure TV. Hi, thumbs down guy. Always good to see them. Again, it's not like it hurts anybody here, but whatever. It's almost like, I was just watching another video, and I told you about this before. There was people where you see these kind of heartfelt, videos. In fact, one was suggested to me. It was, I don't know, some woman went to one of these pet shelters, whatever else. They were trying to, get good homes for dogs and cats and all this other stuff. And this one cat she picks up, it literally will not let her go. It's like holding on to her and putting his head up underneath her neck and everything else. And it just was super comfortable with her. And it was like, I don't know how many thumbs down. I'm like, what happened to society? Seriously, what happened? I mean, it's heartfelt and they're still thumbsing it down. It's almost like they go, there's far too many thumbs up, man. I'm going to have to give a thumbs down just so I can create havoc. And it's like, you're not creating havoc. Either way, it's YouTube sees it as an interest. It doesn't bother the channel. So, I don't know. Whatever. Mars X3D. Dave, I started watching that Jimmy's interview with Mike Patterson, and I didn't actually get to the whole thing. I have to watch the whole thing, though. Of course, I got to be honest with you. I'm not a big fan of anything Sasquatch or Bigfoot, but not the point. It doesn't mean that it's not real, right? To me, they seem to be more of like a missing link type thing, as opposed to this like elusive creature type thing. I think it's more of a missing link, and you hardly ever see it, so I guess it's kind of the same. But I'm not a big fan of those kind of things, but that doesn't mean they're not real. So I haven't checked out the whole thing. I need to actually check that out. Only Creel, you said you agreeing with Jean. You said humans once settled Mars. I actually believe that. I actually believe that there was actually life on Mars, and there might have been, like I said, a bi-planet kind of thing where we could fly back and forth. At one time, and I've way back past, we were like that. Pure speculation, but it doesn't mean it didn't happen, right? Yeah. Tony Gibbs says, and hello, thumbs down. What's the matter? No friends? Yeah, it's pretty sad, isn't it? You got a feel for them. Infrared film or IR film? You said, LOL, there's always one. Oh, yeah, you get a few of them. That's, I don't even care. I think it's great. It just gives us entertainment. Martin Penwright, you said it's the people who can't see and can't see it are the bonker ones. Oh, yeah, that's a fact. I think I know who you're talking about, Adam. I can't remember the name, though. It's a bit chubbier guy, younger than us. Did Mars, you don't remember. Unless you're talking about, I think I know who you're talking about. I can't remember his name. It's been so darn long. No, but he didn't have that many. He's the one I'm thinking of. Stephen Gurley says, there was a time the gods descended and dwelt on Earth as well as on Mars. Yeah. Well, like I said, I mean, a lot of times if you watch like the History Channel and stuff like that, when they talk about like the, these larger people, that these gods, are they being interpreted as gods instead of just larger people or other beings? Because like I said, if you've seen something like that back in the day, past the Egyptian times, way past then, and like I said, if anything flew out of the sky other than a bird, I'm probably going to bow down to them too. They have the power of flight. They look just like us, but they have the power of flight. We'll be lucky if we got horse-drawn carriages way back in the day. So it would make sense. I would think of them as gods too. That could be, Ricardo. You said, I'm certain that one thumbs down is an AI bot doing that as a result of sudden increase in the likes. Yeah, but sometimes you get some people. I know it's happened in the past. You get people that are butthurt from other channels, and they'll do that. Yeah, if I'm going to get him back, I will. And it's like, yeah, I'm going to lose sleep tonight. Whatever. I think it's just comical, actually. Miss Here, you say, I love Jimmy. Sub to him. Bigfoot was spammy at best. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's kind of like a lot of the UFO videos. Love to see the UFOs. awesome stuff. But then there's so many fakes now. It's just like, my God. And it takes away from the cool stuff, the actual real deal, right? And that's what sucks. But you can't do nothing about it, right? You got to try to sift out the real from the fake. It's pretty much the same thing, right? John Ward, you said, I do the same, Chris. I hear you. Jerry Lahane, you said, underground is where Mars people went, in my theory. It could very well be, man. It could very well be. I don't... if you had to, if the surface is just too hazardous, meaning it's either way too hot, way too cold, let's say there's areas that are really prone, kind of like we have the Tornado Alley here in the United States, right? Goes up from like Texas or you got like Nebraska and all that and going up there and going up to the whole center of the United States. Let's say there's an area quite like that, or it's on Mars, wouldn't that make sense? If it's a lot harder to live in that kind of, weather, we'll call it, because it's either too hot, too cold, too windy. And if you got a lot of these dust particles and stuff flying in the air, that's not good for the eyes. So who knows? Maybe most of the time that's what they do. They just burrow into the ground. It would make sense. You burrow underground, you got yourself a constant in temperatures, and you don't have to worry about it being too hot or too cold. Makes sense. And if there's water actually seeping in the ground, they can get their underground water, they can filter that out. I mean, Goat Hot, you said, was that helicopter flying already? Nope. And not yet. We haven't heard anything yet. Nope. I think it is, Tony. You said your question was, Chris, is the spotting effect just a way to make it harder for you to pick these pics apart? I think so. I really do. There you go, Dave. Thumbs down. Probably ran out of the Cheetos in Mommy's basement. That could very well be. That happens. Let's see. Yeah, Jerry Lahane, you're right about that. You said YouTube was crooked to not pay the big gainers and twisted the stats to save by throttling. Yeah, I mean, I think that's BS, and that's what it's basically shadow banning, man. It's like, they just don't put you in the notifications or all of the suggested videos on the right-hand side, and I think that's complete crap. Because I always thought that was like a way of shooting themselves in the foot, right? It's kind of like, okay, we're going to monetize your videos. We're going to put the ads from all, whether it's Coca-Cola or whoever it may be, we're going to put these ads in your videos. Isn't it kind of screwing them and you in the process because I'm not getting as many views as I was before? Doesn't that kind of like shoot yourself in the foot, or am I wrong here? It doesn't make sense. I mean, we're not talking about real conspiracy like they consider real conspiracy, like the Kennedy shooting, 9/11s, stuff like that, which they consider super conspiracy. We're not anything like that. I mean, I don't get it. Oh, Stephen Grilly, he said, because I heard you guys saying something about asking about Tyler from Secure Team 10. He said there's been activity from Tyler on Twitter. He lives. I wish he'd just get back into it. I mean, he's made his mistakes in the past. We know it's either some of the fake videos way back in the past. And, of course, he's had his own personal problems on the side. Okay, well, get over it, man. I think a lot of people need to get over that crap. It's like, just get back into it. And if you have to put a disclaimer saying, listen, this is for entertainment, purposes only in the beginning of the video, and then just go on with it. There's a lot of people. I don't know how many subscribers he's lost, because I think his channel's still there. There's just no videos on it. But I think you should get back into it. It was a very entertaining channel. He did a great job as far as I was concerned. And everybody deserves a second chance, right? So, Watch it, says Chris. You're so right. If you look up the favorite channel, immediately click on thumbs up. It's such simple and effective tool. Cheers. I'm not sure what the NL is. Whoop. God darn it. Hold on. So you can go back. And this thing really jumped. I can find this thing now. Anyway, hello to you. Let's see. Melissa Kalik. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing it correctly, but forgive me if I'm not. So we should make sure what happened on Mars does not also happen here. Absolutely. And it may be the reason why they're there as well, right? They want to see what happened or the demise of that civilization. They want to know probably what happened. Now, like I said, there could be a whole lot of tests going on. First of all, they look at their structural, any kind of technology they had. And like I said before, they'll do core samples. They'll get into, kind of like they did in Antarctica where they had ice. And then you can see like there's a section of like mud and dirt and stuff like that. And then below that was organics. Will they find the same thing on Mars? So now they can go, oh, wow, they actually had something very similar on Mars that they did on Earth. So what they ate was probably very similar to what we ate. So they can discover that, too, about them. And then they got to see what the demise was, what happened. So kind of makes sense. Rock Hits, great question. If people thumbs down, why watch? Do they need a life? Yeah, basically, yeah. But, they just figured, like I said, they just got nothing better to do. Yeah, thumbs down. Welcome aboard the second thumbs down. Appreciate you being here. Again, I think it's comical. Let me see. I don't know if that's supposed to be Fife. He said, hi there. Whilst I'm watching this, ignoring my girlfriend next to me, can you tell her I do love her? Her name is Den. Okay, I guess she loves you. He loves you. So, yeah. But just tell him, hey, listen, I don't care that you watch the videos, but spend some quality time with me. Try not to hit him too hard. Go easy on him. But well, I mean, if you go by Blue Flash, you said there's no proof Mars has oxygen. If you go and check out their list of gases, there is actually a trace of it. Now, we're not talking about an abundance like here on Earth, but there is trace gases of oxygen as well. So, and that's if you're going by what you're hearing, what NASA's telling us. So, in other words, if you were to take oxygen out of the equation, how many animals could live on it? 0. So, unless, of course, you're some, little microbial life or something like that. And even in water, you can still get some kind of oxygen out of it, right? Unless, of course, it's brine, which is highly salted, but I think there's still, you got your oxygen in that as well. So, yeah, if you go by what they say, yeah, but even then they still say there's still oxygen on Mars. Oh, I didn't know that, John. You were talking to Steven. You said, yeah, Tyler posted on Twitter recently. Apparently he had a major operation or something. Huh. I hope I'm well. 6, she said, hey, gang, good to see you all. I hope you are well. Last time I saw you all, I sent a multi-people reply that didn't include everyone in it. Should have. For that, I apologize. Hey, Chris, great seeing you. Oh, 6, good seeing you too. Glad you're here. Ricardo said, I'm sure the people who thumbs down watch about 60 seconds, then move on. Yeah, I mean, to me, I just go, listen, if it's not a video that I'm even remotely wanting to see, I don't bother watching it, period. Let alone thumbs it down. I could care less. Because in other words, it's like saying, well, I love anything hot rod, space, technology, and all of a sudden you click on a video that's flowers and gardening. Well, that's not my bag. So, but I'm not going to go, oh, thumbs down. So you know it's somebody being facetious or being just being silly. So I don't care. Let me see. John Ward, he's taken off. He's a good night, everybody. It's 100 or 0 hours, 100 hours rather. I'm here. Yep, it should be. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you're 1 o'clock. Time for the crib, no doubt. All right, John, good having you in there, brother. Keep doing the good work there, and we'll talk to you soon. Maybe we can have John Ward on again. What do you guys think? We can really talk about some of these new photos and stuff like that. Or, I don't know if John, if he ought to do a live feed. We can get on there with him. What do you guys think? What do you think, John? Jump in there and pull some of these photos apart. Tony Gibbs, you said the obvious broken up statuary is too much to ignore. Somebody carved, molded, whatever that stuff. Yeah. So it has a purpose. Somebody made that, right? It's not something that's, it's just natural. Now, a lot of things are natural. There's rocks there and everything else like you would expect to see on the ground. But then you see these other things, and there seems to be blur over that particular item. So why isn't it on the rest of the rocks and the dirt? Well, it just happened the camera was selective and decided to blur that rock. I don't think so. So, Jay McGuffey says, we have been manipulated for eons, LOL. Yeah, the sad part is you're right. Cords Grold says, the Martian life found by Curiosity looks like if Earth's literal life forms managed to survive without high tide, without being submerged, getting water only from melted ice. Well, again, the ground, the dirt, well, most of the area, at least in Gale Crater, was saturated with water, and it only had a certain amount of percentage. So it wasn't like, you step in it, it's like mud up to your knees, but it still had liquid under the surface, and it was, I forget what, they had. It was only so much per, I think it was like 3 meters or whatever, but there was only so much in that area. But nonetheless, it's still there, right? Michael Ferdinand, you said, I know I came late. Was there any mention on the SN-10 explosion? Stinks that happened. It landed more to the left of the landing platform. Wondering if that's why the explosion, the water cannon couldn't reach under. Yeah, I mean, I've seen that video. If you guys have seen the spaceship from SpaceX, it comes in like this here. When it comes in, it literally comes down like this to reduce speed, and then you'll see the thrusters come on to tilt it and come down and then go ahead and land. And I don't know if it landed right the first time and it kind of like exploded right there on the pad, or somehow it just tilted. It seemed to me it came down and landed, but something exploded on the actual craft. So it did as it was intended to do. It just did not, something went wrong with it and it exploded. I didn't get into if they said anything today about it, so I didn't read anything about that, so I can't tell you what the exact cause was, but still strides being made, guys. Still strides being, and something that big can just come down and just come back down. Reusable rocket, guys. And this thing is very large compared to just a simple rocket or missile. Well, we don't want to launch missiles, but rockets. So when you see this thing actually come down, like I said, it just comes down like this here. Like if you were a skydiver, it comes down like that there, and then like I said, the rockets come on and it just makes it upright, and then it just lands it, which I think is an amazing feat that they're doing at this thing. And of course, it's already been to the International Space Station, so it's been pretty cool to see it do that. But pretty cool nonetheless. I didn't. Long Island, New York, he said, did everybody forget about this Cydonia region on Mars? Not at all. And somebody had said that before, too. They just recently, somebody said, why don't they go to the pyramids, which is basically in that Cydonia region? Remember they called it the city? Why don't they go there? Even if they didn't go there, you could bet they've taken a really, really, well-detailed photos of that area. We know that. I mean, come on. Like I said, if the MRO can take, basically a photo of this desk in like unprecedented clarity or detail, as they said, and you're talking about a desk that might be, this is probably about 5 feet, a little over 5 feet long, but the one that, what was his name there? He was in there, part of the Curiosity team. What the hell was his name, guys? I just had it and I just lost it again. Anyway, so the scientist there, he says, yeah, you can see down at this desk in great detail. Okay, so they've studied that area quite well, and they know every nook and cranny of it. Doesn't matter if a rover has gone there. You can bet it's studied the hell out of that area. Adam B., you still got me scratching my head about that other person. I like what he said. I'm not affiliated with anything. Yeah, sad. You're right about that, Jay. You said they won't show themselves to humanity as we can't even get along with our own race. Sadly, that's right. Like I said, if I was some kind of alien race and I wonder, oh, look, there's life on this planet and they seem to have technology. They may not be as further along as we are, but then as you're approaching and you're hearing our TV transmissions and our radio and stuff, oh, wow, they can sing, they have all these sounds and, their broadcast and everything else, and all of a sudden you just look at the warring going on, the hatred here. Oh, hell, I don't want nothing to do with that planet. I wouldn't. I'd be like, give them a couple thousand years, maybe they'll straighten their stuff out, or they won't be here to talk about it, one of the two. He said, watch it. Says, just notice, Chris, your thumbs up just went up rather rapidly. Haha. There's still a few of them. We got like 190 people watching. Got 149 thumbs up. Go ahead and tap it, guys. Bam. Let me show you guys this here. Let me see if we can. We'll get into that a little bit too. I don't know if you guys seen this on this day in space, March 5th, 1982. Soviet Venera 14 probe lands on Venus. This is where they seen these, goofy little, let me see if we can see this picture here. They had this weird object that was on the ground. They said, oh, look, it's, this is the Venera spacecraft. And you can see it has this, the landing gear and some sensors there coming out of it. And they were saying that, oh, there's some kind of weird object on the ground. No, it's a coupler. I don't understand why people are thinking it's some kind of strange object. It come off the actual... the lander itself, and it had like two halves. If you could put it around like a pipe and there's screws, there's 1, 2 screws and another one. It looks like one of those couplers, like one of the sleeves, a half a sleeve come off of it. It's not in this picture, but one of them that it is. I don't know if they even have it on here. Let's see if they even got it on here. I don't believe that they do, though. No, I'm not seeing it. Okay. No, I'm not seeing that. But either way, there's some interesting things in the background of that photo, too. Well, not this particular one, but the other ones. Venera 14 parachuted down to the surface of Venus and collected data on the atmosphere the whole way down. It landed about 600 miles away from Venera 13 and started beaming back images from the surface of Mars, but not for long, because basically we know what it's like on Venus. It's not very... technology friendly, let's just put it that way, right? Let's see. Let me bring this up a little bigger here. See, the high pressure and temperature at Venus kill Venera 14 in under an hour. But yet we can parachute down to it. Really interesting. Seven Thalamus. 7, what's going on? See you waving over there? What's going on? Chris Blake, what's happening? He said, evening all. I'm going to jump all the way down. All the way down to here. I seen that, Elaine. You said something came up on the news feed the other day about there being a second inner core of Earth, a fifth layer. Did you hear? Yes, I did. And they had that cutout. Did you see that? Where it had obviously the surface of the Earth, then the crust, and then they had the inner, there's like the inner solid crust. Then, of course, they had the core and then another inner core now, they're saying. And you're going to see these people going to town now with these hollow Earth. Oh, yeah, look at. And I believe there is a hollow Earth to a certain degree because there's very large caverns in Earth's crust, right? Some of them you can't even get to the bottom of these things, and it's just regular caves. You go into it like a cave, and it just drops, man. It just keeps going down. So it could very well be inner Earth, and it could be. How about some of these remote areas where it's covered up with trees, like an Amazon jungle kind of thing, right? And that, how do we know that, these things don't go miles upon miles down, and these, let's say there's a civilization living under right under our feet. Very good possibility. Nobody'd know it. And if they're shielded somehow, in other words, you can't pick up the technology, you'd never know it. Oh, okay. Disclosure TV said that's the clearest image of that Venus surface photo I've ever seen. Well, there's actually more of those, but funny enough, if you look way in the back here, it's like, look at it, it's completely distorted. Kind of the same way there, but it might be because you got to remember this is back in 1982. So, and you can see the pressure. Well, you can't really actually see the pressure, but you can see the ground the way it is. It may be due to the pressure and whatever else, and maybe heat and all that other good stuff. So, but you can see, I'm trying to back out a little bit to make it a little bit clearer. Look at this area right here. Look at this, kind of weird how it's like surrounded like a cutout type thing. See that? Kind of interesting. Right there. There's some weird things in these photos, that's for sure. This is kind of off the ground, this rock here. See this? Kind of off the ground. And then you can see like these little pieces inside here. Kind of interesting. You can see it's like right there off the ground. There's an actual shadow underneath it too. Yeah, these are cool. When I seen these first, I was like, that's pretty interesting. Not sure what to make of that. Just happens to be like the only thing there. That's white. But it might have been something when it came down, it rattled the ground, came down, and maybe vibrated, but still interesting. Or it's something that fell off of the thing. One of the two. But still cool no matter how you look at it, right? And put it back there. There we go. DVP Research, what's up? What's going on? Stephen Grilly said that's not a rock, it's a large fungus. Yeah, there's some crazy things on that. You just got to look up the Venera 14, 13. They had multiple missions that went there. Of course, once they got there, they failed because, like I said, the pressure and the heat and all this other good stuff. So, Charlene, Venus kills famously rugged Russian probes and eats them in an hour. Too bad for tourists. Yeah, that's not good, is it? Get a hell of a sunburn or definitely be a lot shorter once you get there. Step outside. Robert Morgan, he said they found a huge second ocean under the ocean bed. It was quite a ways down. Blue Flash, he said, still can't decide if a Moro was intelligently made. You know, the scientists analyzing that thing. I talked about it here, and who knows? I mean, the way that thing, they say it had no characteristics of like a comet or anything. It had no tail to it, had none of that, and it did slingshot around our sun, and yet no tail. So they were really, there's one guy saying that it is like might have been some kind of alien spacecraft or probe of some sort. Who knows? I didn't look at the data. I don't know, but I think anything could be feasible, right? Anything's possible. There you go. Moss XTD Dave. The cow people were totally wiped out. Utter destruction. Aha. Ba-dum. Anita M., what's going on? Interesting, DVP. You said, I know the truth about Mars. I know how to hack into Mars data files, and photos. Everyone can learn on my second episode. Sweet. You have to check that out. Adam B said your old photos don't even exist, bro. Well, they're not going to, because I know, like I said, I'm trying to remember exactly what it's called, but it was a Google part of, YouTube. You can actually click on it, and it's basically almost like a homepage, if you will, but you can put all your photos there and everything else. And that kind of sucked, because every time I had a link that people can go check out the photos, of course they said, well, this is coming to an end, blah, 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 blah. And that was pretty much it. Is what it is. Mimi Rack says, Chris, what's your opinion about the monolith found in Gobekli Tepe? Well, they have, you seen the way the things was made out, right? They were like surrounding an area. What I found interesting is that they was purposely buried, which I think is interesting, right? And it's almost like they did it purposely because they didn't want anybody to find it. But I know somebody found it by accident. I don't know if they were digging and hit one of those monoliths. And I thought that was really interesting, because once they unburied them, you see what they have carved in them. They look like lizards and like dodo birds. And I think one even it looked like a stegosaurus. I know they had, I may be mistaken on that, because I know they had it in Cambodia. That was Angkor Wat's, had that. But I'm almost positive they had something weird like that on one of those as well. But if they didn't, doesn't matter. I think it's a really exciting place. I mean, they've undug quite a bit of that. I don't even know if they're undone digging that thing, are they? Melissa Calick, he said Cliff High put out a video recently on how to make UFOs. Yeah, he's pretty smart as far as the technologically wise, and I started watching some of his stuff as well. And yeah, really smart guy. I mean, he's not like some, he's like a backyard mechanic. I mean, he's pretty smart. I recommend anybody go there and check out his stuff and subscribe to him. He's a good guy too. Seems very, very down to earth, and nothing wrong with that. Jeremy Broderick, you said, how would NASA get 1 milliwatt of power from the air on Mars? Not sure what you mean by that. I don't know if you can elaborate on that. Kind of curious what you mean by that. Of course, this thing just jumped on me. I'm just going to go all the way down to the bottom here so we can actually get this show on the road here. Chris, remember the photo on Mars that looked like a sphinx? If you're talking about the one way in the back, are you talking about that one? It was probably from the Sojourner. It was the very first one, which was in 97, which is one of the photos I'm going to share with you guys today. I'm going to show you the original, what I found in it, and then somebody sent me a photo that looked like this weird city in the background. And if you guys have been following me, you know exactly which one I'm talking about. Pretty cool. James Cragen, thank you very much for your support, brother. I do appreciate you. You said in 1966, NASA and Barbara Middlehurst did a study on the translunar phenomenon at crater Aristarchus, a huge amount of objects and lights being viewed by telescopes around the world. Unreal report. Yeah, I remember hearing about that and reading on that. They were talking about even, like you said, even further back than 1966, people with telescopes were looking at it and can see strange lights in these craters and kind of traversing over the moon and every other thing. So it really makes you wonder if there's anything still on the moon itself. I don't know if there's anything like being used that's on the moon, unless it's us there, actually mining for helium-3. But I wonder if it's more underground, which would make more sense. You're a lot safer than, being on the surface, because you do get like these little rocks and stuff slamming it all the time. So it'd be a lot safer there. However, there is a bunch of structures on the moon. We've seen that. I've done videos on that, right? So whether they're being used, I don't know. So, yeah. You're right about that, Dave. He said the Gobekli Tepe is huge. I believe some 11 acres or more in extent. They'll be excavating for decades. See, that's what I'm saying. When they first started off, remember there was just like they had a couple of those monoliths, and then all of a sudden they're like in a circular area. Then they really started to go out and unbury these things. Really, really cool. And to see something that old, I think that's just really cool and unique. Lone Villain Grows. I didn't see you jumping in. You say, hey, Chris, don't know if you saw, but hello, smoking and watching. Love the show. I appreciate that, Lone Villain. Good to see you in there. Mars Times. Hi, Chris. Do you think there might be a civilization on Mars being told there is no life on Earth? Doubtful. Because if there is life on Mars, they're going, okay, where are these things coming from? You know what I mean? So you can bet that they know we're here. But now that we're there, can you imagine being a civilization, though? Think about this a minute. You could see anything in the skies, especially at night, right? You know what your moons look like, because I got the 2 moons. And suddenly, you see these things just kind of like whizzing by in the sky, and you're thinking, what the hell is that? Now you got these things coming down, landing, and basically, investigating your planet. Wouldn't that be the weirdest thing? If that was here, we'd kill it off in seconds. So, or at least we'd want to know and find out who sent it here and everything else. So we'd probably take it if we could. So I think that's really wild. Can you just imagine being there and living on that planet? Suddenly these things are here. And the thing is, can you imagine if you're a lot smaller? That's what's crazy. Because if you think about that and you see the size of this Rover, because it's like a size of a small to mid-size SUV here, what it would look like if you were 6 inches tall. That thing would be monstrous. But, of course, pure speculation. But is it? Many times we've seen things that look so small, you go, there's no way that could be like the size of a structure or something for a human being. At least not for us. Now, Mars is smaller, a little over half the size of Earth. So wouldn't it stand to reason, unless, of course, because there's less gravity, you'd be more tall and spindly, or at least that's the way they say it. My thing is, was it always like that? Or was it more like Earth as far as gravity, more oxygen, so on and so forth? Would they be like the size of us? Would they be much smaller? I don't know. It's just weird, some of the things you see in here. And like I said, that one I'm going to show you about the Sojourner, you'd swear these beings are not but this big. And I'll show you that because one person said, not yelled at me, but said, wow, you didn't see that little guy, that little person, that little Martian between the rover and the rock? And I was like, what is this guy smoking? But when I went closer, I said, it kind of does look like a little person. We'll get into that. In fact, we'll do that in a minute. Ricardo says only 15% of Gobekli Tepe is uncovered. Yes. Yep. Ricardo said it was purposely covered up. That's what they say. It was literally covered. I guess they didn't want, people to get into it, check out whatever. Maybe they're going to go back to it. They were saying that maybe they were going to go back to it, at some point. That'll take a lot of digging out, but yeah. Josh D said those type of landings and such are the basics. I'm guessing you're saying the basis of the Vedas and Sumerian writings. Yeah, I mean, if you go back to like you said, the Vedas, the different ancient writings, whether it be carvings or whatever, depending on what civilization we're talking about. If you're talking about the Indian one, the Mahabharata, things like that. Again, they had vimanas, flying machines, all kinds of crazy stuff, and this goes back thousands of years ago. So, again, were they like sci-fi writers back then, or did they actually have something like that? Jay McGuffey said humans aren't extremophiles yet. That's a fact. I thought of the same thing. Good question, Jeremy. You said, what happens when we take over Mars? Historically, it would not be not be a good thing, rather. And yeah, I agree. We could just treat them the same way we would treat every other country around, right? Yeah. It's like, kill them first, ask questions later. I don't get it. But it would make sense in a sick way if they were that small and basically defenseless, because what would their weapons be like? Well, if you were alien and you're using weapons against each other, you could probably kill each other off. But if you're a full-size person like us, what would that thing do to us? You know what I mean? And if they are, in fact, real, then the rover would just there's nothing they could do with that thing. They could crawl all over it, wouldn't do nothing to it. So, I don't know. It's cool to think about, but kind of weird too at the same time. Oops. What's going on there, Phil? Phil Cox with daughters Jessica and Kelsey Brown is in the house. What's going on? Good to see you in there, Phil. Daniel Vargas, he says, sup, Chris? What's going on? Jerry says, Chris is to Mars. Well, Graham Hancock is to Gobekli Tepe. Well, appreciate that. He's pretty deep in his research, that's for sure. Oh, 9ML Daniel. Size does not matter until it does. LOL. You got that right, Josh D. So if they're that small, then there'll be no interbreeding. It must be test tube stuff, yeah, pretty much. Let me see. All right, let me show this to you guys. This is pretty cool. Let's do this one first. This is the original Pathfinder, and if you guys have not seen this, this is pretty interesting. Now, this is what's funny, because when you see this, and this is taken by the Pathfinder. So I said this before about the Rover. This was in 1997. Now, it went over these little rocks. You can see the wheels are very small, right? They're not very big. So you can understand that this thing didn't go far. And it kind of makes a lot of sense. So clearly it's not going to go very far. But look at the little, what people were saying, oh, it looks like a little person. Look at this. Right between this rock and the actual rover, looks like he's got like this little, I'm going to say like a cone head type thing. It looks like he's reaching out to it. You see his legs up on the rock, like it's an arm here, the head, looking right at the rover, the legs, the body of him. Now, that's what was pointed out to me. I'm going, what? And, when I seen it, I was like, oh, damn. It actually looks like a little person stuck between the rover and a rock. Yeah, stuck between a rock and a rover and a hard place. So I thought that was really interesting. Now, guys, this is, if you're not aware, this is the Sojourner. This is the very first rover that was put on Mars. This is back in 97. And, of course, we had the sister ones, both Opportunity and Spirit. They were on 2004, and then we had Curiosity in 2012, and now we got the 2020 rover. So that's all the rovers we had on there. Landers-wise, it's a whole different story, right? And if you take note of this object up here, I'm going to try to put it in the middle. Look at this object right here. If you guys have a magnifier, take the thing out, check it out. Pretty cool stuff. Mimi said, oh my God, cute tiny peeps. But I mean, if you look at it, it kind of did. First, I'm saying when they told me, they said, oh, you didn't even see a little person. I'm going, little person? What are these people even talking about? And when I looked at it, I was like, oh my God, it kind of does look like a little person, like between that rock, sitting on the rock up against it, putting his hand on the thing. If that is truly a Martian, yeah, he's pretty much dead meat. So, oh yeah. Now, this object here, this gray one, look at this thing. It's right here. I'm going to go ahead and go around it with the arrow here, or the mouse itself. You can see that this thing here, it got this nice straight edge, comes back down, comes over here, and it has its other features on the top of it. Really, really weird looking. But what I did was this area in the back. Let me do this. Let me get rid of my mug so you guys can see this a lot better. There we go. All right. So now when you look at this here, I did this section back here. This is where people on the very right said it looked like there was some kind of weird sphinx, right? I wasn't even interested in that. And I never even seen that, to be truthful with you guys. What I saw was this item right here. This one right here. To me, guys, it looked like an old-style bus. That's what it looked like. Front windshield, side door to go in, and it looks like it has windows. At least it doesn't look like that right now, but I'm going to bring that out a whole lot better. Behind it, there is something else with a flat roof. At least it appears that way. 1, 2, 3, 4 rectangular squares on the side of it. I thought right off the bat, what the hell? Are these vehicles? Now, here's the weird thing. Let's take a look at this little Martian here, or whatever these things. Picture this little thing right here. Let's say, hypothetically, this is an actual person right here between the rover and the rock. If you could take the size of him, move him to the back over here. Now, keep in mind, this thing looks like it's half buried. He'd be able to walk right in that. As weird as that sounds, he'd be able to walk right into that. If that's, in fact, a Martian. But these in the back, here's another thing I want you guys to take note of. This is cool. Right here, you can see straight lines in the back. They've been ghosted out, but there's a bunch of straight lines going across and down. But when I first looked at this, I first saw this, it looked like some kind of weird bus type thing. And I'm going, nah, I can't, come on. We're talking about Mars here, right? There's no way this thing could be like that, right? So when I went through this photo, I'm going to just back up a little bit. After I went through this, Let me make it the full size so you guys can see. You can actually see the solar panels of the Pathfinder. So I did this thing, got the sky better, got the colors more natural. Okay? Now check this out. It looks like structures or frames of structures. All I did was brought them lines out that I was telling you earlier, and these other pieces. It looks like there's multiple of these things. What the hell are they? What are they, and why are they on the surface of Mars? You got this other piece still here on the left. That is not a simple rock. I promise you it's not. I'm not sure what that is, but it's not a rock. So what could that possibly be? Goat High, so what about the round thing on the left, half buried? Well, like I said, we've got, oh, you're talking about this right over here, or are you talking about over here? But interesting enough, check this out. Go over here. What is this thing on the ground that has these sections of this design in this? Okay? Again, if this was in fact, again, hypothetically, that was some weird alien thing, it would actually be the size for that. So, how far are these? One guy said, well, no, that thing's going to be miles off. How do you figure? The Rover's not that big. That thing, it could literally fit in front of me. It was that big. It wasn't that big at all. So, okay, and you're right over there. It's almost like they were these really large, like, Tonker truck kind of things. I'm not saying it's probably a lot bigger than that, but you get what I'm saying. It just made sense. Now, again, I'm going to go back to the original size and go back to this. And those, like I said, those lines are in fact there because you can see them in the background right above it. Right here going straight across, right here going straight across. This is some coming down. And like I said, I didn't notice this until I started to slightly burn a little bit, and then all of these things started to pop out. It really made no sense. I'm like, why are we seeing these things here on Mars? It makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. So let me show you what this other person sent me. They said, Chris, this is what I found in the back. Now, what I found interesting about this, I said, okay, could this round blotch represent the sun? But it wouldn't be that big, right? Or is it some kind of focal point of the camera? But what he found was when he did this. Now, when you go back to this, let me show you this, because you might go, what the hell is that? Let me show you this. This is cool. Let's go back. I want to show you what's really odd here. When you go zoom all the way into this thing, I'm just going to go as far as I can. I want you to look above the actual ground. There is lines above what we see here. We can see the very ground right here. Look above it. There's actually like blurring in little squares. Now, what would cause that in a photo? Maybe somebody's got an idea? I don't know. Exactly, Mimi. You said, Chris, I always said that this sky is fake. I believe there's a lot of manipulation going on in the back of this. And if this is true, again, doesn't it all kind of coincide? Because here, again, hypothetically, this is a little Martian being, whatever he may be. Again, he could walk over here, get right in one of these vehicles or whatever they may be, and all of these structures were in the background. So, and again, pure speculation, guys. We know that, right? Because there's no way to vet any of this. But again, you see that in the back, all in the back here. And I was starting to get some of this. And then this is when this guy sent this to me about, let me get this out of here first. That there. So what I did was I took this here, made it black and white, and then I cut a piece of it off and I dropped it near. You can see that weird looking, what I call the bus. I'm not sure what it is, but right here, you can see where he did this, and he brought all those little lines out, and funny enough, kind of look like structures. Or is it nothing more than artifacts, which I'm 50-50 on. It could very well be nothing more than artifacts, but it's funny how some of them are a lot taller in some areas than the rest of it that's real close to the surface. So I don't know. Is it something off in the back? And funny enough, see the way these things are on this mound? They literally look like they'd be built. If you were to build something on a mountain today, that's the way they look like they're built. You know, you wouldn't build it like this on the hill. slanted on the hill the same direction the hill's going, you'd build it sticking out of the hill, right? And that's what these actually look like to me. All right, so again, what I do is I made this pot. I took a pot of that off, and I put it on here. I don't know, guys. It's just weird. But I thought that was one of the cooler ones because even if this is all BS in the back, I could care less. What's in the front is what really had me like, whoa, what is this stuff? And again, if they were, and I didn't even notice this. Everybody kept saying it's a being or something. I didn't even notice that. All I thought was a rock next to another rock. And I said, well, what if that was the size of an actual one of these little beings and they could get on these, whatever, if they are transports or whatever they are, could be structures for all the hell we know. But if you go back a little bit, it all kind of makes sense. If, in fact, this is all there, right? That's all we can do. Let me see what else we got here. DVP said, you see, didn't I say they were yellow, the little ones? Well, Agent Fern, I think it's your first name. He said, common compression artifacts of blocky square shapes around edges. And that's exactly what I was thinking. You know what I mean? One way or the other. And truthfully, I didn't really care so much about the back, but I found it interesting the way these compression artifacts seem to... Look at the way they actually set on the rock on this hill, though. I get if they were just kind of like going up the same slope in the same direction, but just really weird the way that looks. And the way they are shaped is a lot smaller ones. I would expect, here's what it would blow my mind. See all of these right here? This is right along the ground. It would make absolute sense to me. Absolute sense. I would say there's nothing more than compression artifacts, and I'm still leaning towards that. But then you get over here, and they're much bigger over here, and the way they're set on this hill, it's like the way we would build here. You would build off of, in other words, sticking out of said hill, mountain, or whatever it may be. So, I don't know. But I'm more apt to believe that's compression artifacts, but I'm trying to figure out what this other blotch here is on here. This, to me, actually, he found this. It looks like it's been a stitched photo at the background. So, if it's stitched, and then they brought these to the background together with the ground, this could very well be artifacts of stitching. Could very well be. Renee said, look, a Mars flux capacitor. Yeah, you'll get those every now and then. Mimi said, now imagine the people from NASA see the raw pictures on a daily basis. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I don't see another one there. You're saying, where'd you go? Rocket, you said, just to the right of the little man looks like another one holding a weapon. Yeah, I don't see that. Like I said, the only thing it kind of caught my eye is the way they said that. It looks like its legs and everything else. And I was just like, that is kind of weird, man. That is kind of strange. Exactly. James, you said, Chris, come on. How can it be denied what is clearly visible in that photo? Yeah, I mean, to me, like I said, these could very well be artifacts, but I'm a little intrigued with the ones that are much bigger and the way it's set on this hill. And, of course, you can see this has been stitched in the background, so I'm wondering what happened there. It's almost like if you could picture a sunset, of course, that would be an awfully big sun here, but if it was a sunset or a sunrise, it's coming up in the sky, kind of makes sense. I don't think that's the case, but you still see a stitch line here. So I'm not sure what went on in this photo, or at least the background, the sky wannabe. But interesting enough, it was just pretty cool. These here, I still believe these are here as far as... Let me go back here. As far as these right here, I can see that, and I can't unsee this object anymore. Like I said, it looks like one of them old-style buses that we used to have, running around. I'm sure some states do still. But I found that interesting, and then we got these ones right here. Like I said, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 rectangular darker areas, and there was something behind it. I didn't even notice these before until I started actually bringing this out. And you can see, again, these straight lines, so I thought that was really interesting. And after I brought it out, I was just like, wow, that's crazy, but there you go. And again, we got this other object directly here in the middle of the photo. Right there. If you guys are watching on a much smaller, device, just use your mag glasses, Dave, he said, gotta jump off. Blessings to all. All right, Dave, good seeing you there, brother. And, we'll talk to you soon. Keep up the good work there. And like I said, we got this other item here on the ground. And guys, it's still there. Watch, I'll show you the other one. These things are still there. There it is. Right there on the ground. In the middle of the photo right there. This object right here in the middle, it's still there. These here are still there. They're just more, you can see where they, looks like they try to really blur this out or really darken out. You're going to see a lot better detail in the front. It makes sense. But in the back, maybe not so much. But look at these things, man. How does that, it literally looks like it has, they blurred this. You can see that right here. Let's suppose this is a weird, doorway to this, whatever this thing is. You can see it, they put blur right there. And they put it all around the side of it. Oh, it's just crazy, man. Just really weird. But this is more realistic color here. And we can take a look at Mr. I'm going to get squished by a Rover guy. Almost looks like it has a shadow under his feet, too, isn't it? I don't even know if this is even a person, guys, to be honest with you. But it's just cool to think about it. But I don't know. There you go. Now, the other one I wanted to show you guys is what looks like a car on Mars, but it's not as clear. And again, it was pure speculation. I'd done this one a long time ago, which is pretty wild. Let's go to, let's do this. I think I'd done this one here. Let me see. I don't know if it was this middle one. Okay. Car on a roadway. Now, first you go, really not seeing it here. But this is this is the normal photo here. And I've got the actual, it says Sol 510. And it's got the actual address and everything to it. Of course, it's a little hard to actually grab that. But, and you could put, I think I even have this set, and it says car on a roadway video. But you can see the object right here under the red arrow. And it looks like there's a guard railing, for lack of a better word, running along this. And of course, what do we got? We got the fisheye lens. Of course we do. So what I did was I tried to actually straighten that out too. Flatten it out. But here's this way you can almost see there's a wheel here. Wheel here. Looks like it'd be it's driving to the back. In other words, you're seeing the passenger side. And you go, I'm really not seeing it. At first I didn't either. But it looks like this thing, it looks like it's wrecked in the front. First thing I thought of, I'm saying, what if they had something similar to what we have? In other words, some kind of vehicles to get around. But maybe they powered them differently. Maybe they're nuclear powered or they're strictly electric or whatever they may be. Hypothetical. What if, you're driving along and all of a sudden this great catastrophe happens on your planet. You're at ore and you're driving 70 miles an hour. You're going to pile into the guy in front of you because everybody's stopping to see what's going on. And it's going to be a major crash and, maybe 1,000 car pileup. Who knows, right? Let me get down here. Let me see. Claudia with a chant of UFOs. What's going on? He said, evening all. Just chilling in the shadows. DVP researcher said this pic is crawling with aliens. And they all almost invisible. I bet Chris knows what I'm talking about. When you uncover the things by enhancing, I bet you see these weird creatures appear. See, that's what I'm saying. My mind has never been geared for that. Now, after somebody told me about that little creature was between the Sojourner rover and that rock, it kind of looked like a person to me. It just the way it looked like the legs and the head and the arms. And so that there kind of did. But the rest of them, not so much. What I thought was interesting about this is they blurred or skewed all of these things in front of this, what looks like a car on a roadway. Now, let me see here. All right, so there it is right here. More darkened and cleared up. And you can see that which still looks like this weird roadway. You got the what looks like a guardrail type thing or whatever. And I try to take out some of that fisheye lens. You can see the difference in here, the enhancements right here. You can see the right here. You can see one is behind the other. I tried to straighten it out, and you can see that. See how it's like a little bit more straightened out? But it kind of looked like a car on a roadway to me. Am I wrong? Could very well be. Could absolutely be. But that's what it looked like to me. Now, you could call it a pareidolia, but to me, that's what it looked like. Now, is it weird, some kind of weird structure, and it just looks like it has wheels to it? I don't know. No idea. But that's what it kind of struck me as. What do you guys think about that? And I'll show you the other one, too. Well, actually, I can show you this one here. And so I highlighted, put two filters on it just so we can see a little bit better. But what do you guys see in here? Is it something much different? Like, I'm going to go with this is the original. What are you guys seeing? Dr. Z, there you go. Truck driver on Mars driving by, flipping the bird at the Rovers. Yeah, be like, get off my planet. Ricardo, you said a car looks like a Honda Civic. I don't know what to make of it because it's this weird kind of back to it. I'm not even sure what the hell that thing even is, but it has what looks like this railing, and then what looks like these wheels on the sides. And again, you can see that right there going across all the way, and then it kind of fades out and just kind of goes to crap. And this is right behind it, and after all I did was just docking it up, brought some, burned it a little bit, and that's what I got. I don't know. And like I said, I tried to get rid of the fisheye lens. But I think it's what they're trying to do is a lot of times is they're trying to make things look like they're off in the distance. What do you guys think? What do you think? Why do you think they use this fisheye lens? Why would I don't understand why they use it to begin with. It's beyond me. But let's suppose, they're using it for a good reason. What do you guys think the reason is for it? Because I've seen photos when they used this fisheye lens, it made it look like it was trying to be like far off in the distance, but when you correct it a little bit, it doesn't look that far. And guys, look at the shadow of the Rover, okay? And how far is this? It's not very far. How big is this thing? I don't know. I have no idea. Pat Owen says, 2 billion-year-old Martian tollway. I don't know. If it's not some kind of weird transport or whatever on a road or a track or whatever, I don't know what that is. But to me, that didn't look like a standard rock like we're seeing here in the foreground. Well, when I say standard rock, meaning just a natural rock, right? If it's not that, then what is it? Is it parts laying around? Is it? I don't know. H-1AV, I didn't even see you jump in there. He said, obfuscated with an overlay that's different from the rest of the pic. Well, I mean, like I said, you can see where I've done this. When I take this whole section and try to enhance it, you can see there's 2 sections I did, and then you can see where I corrected because now it's more straight. But to me, that's what it looked like. And this is a while back when I had done this thing. And, well, as you can see, it's a solid 510, so this goes back quite a bit. This is Curiosity Rover. So this goes way back. And every time we see something, it always appears to be really small. So is it possible these things it was a small civilization, but then we see some things that look quite large? Who knows? It might be just the way they're focused or zoomed into said objects. Could very well be. I don't even know if it's that far. He said, Jesus is my King 68. He said maybe 500 feet away or less. I don't even think it's even quite that. I would say if you were standing in front of this Rover, again, you can see the mast, the head to it, where it stands up on the Rover. If this thing is, let's say I don't even know. Let me see if I can find, trying to see if there's another rock where it shows a shadow, because you're seeing quite a bit of shadow here from the Rover, but I'm not seeing too many on the rocks, which is a dead giveaway as far as manipulation, right? But let's suppose it's evening time, just for something for an argument. It still wouldn't matter if that thing is 7 foot to the very top. So if you're a 6 foot guy, you're standing next to this thing, you could literally walk over there and just basically touch this thing. You'd probably stand over that thing, whatever it is. So I don't believe it's that far away. I'd say, believe it or not, I'd say it's not that far at all. If you look from, the shadow of the rover, I'm talking tops 40, 50 feet. It doesn't look like it's that far away at all. And if that's true, what size would it be? You know what I mean? Pat Owen, you said the same thing, about 50 feet. There you go, Olin. The Tesla has landed. It could be Mimi. He said, could it possibly Elon has already been to Mars? Could very well be. Thomas McNan, you said, this one is really cool too. Could be more than one, or is it more larger broken structure, natural or not? Impressive. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't look natural. Whatever that thing is, it's behind some kind of, almost looks like a rail. I call it a god rail, but I don't know what that is. But these are here, and that's what I call it, like a car on a roadway. That's what it looked like, my first impression, after enhancing this area. Now, this could be some kind of weird parts laying around for all we know. I don't know. Again, that's the original. And it shows another angle, too, where the rover was actually up a little further, but this is where it gets crazy. You can see, picture the same photo. Let's do this. Let me zoom in a little bit. That this piece here, what I call the car, was over here. Funny enough, you can actually see like a little area they went like that, and they blocked out the so-called wheels, I call it. They literally blocked it out. You couldn't even see that. Like this thing was under the dirt all of a sudden. Like they manipulated it in a different way this time, where it was almost covered halfway up. So I thought that was really weird that they did that. Oops, thing just jumped on me again here. Ricardo, this one here is the Curiosity rover. He said, sorry, question, which rover is that? Yeah, this is the Curiosity Sol 510. You can see it up here. And you can see, if you always look at right here at the images, it says Images Project MSL, Mars Science Laboratory, which is our Curiosity rover. And you can see surface, and of course, Sol 510, EDR, FCAM, so there you go. FLB, and of course it is a JPEG, which really suck. And I love it when they call it RAW, because clearly it's not a RAW photo, it's BS. But that's the front has cam. You can see it says front cam, but it is, you can see it right here in the link. It says front, or FHAZ. So this is the front has cam. Yeah, you'd be about right, H-Sauce, yeah. You said I thought 40 to 60 feet away. And that would be somewhere around there. That would make sense. DVP said it's a little person. See, I don't see that. I don't see it as a little person. I see what looks like wheels on something, and it looks like it's been wrecked here in the front of it. Now, again, this could be a pile of junk for all we know. It just has that shape, like it has a wheel in the front, wheel in the back. It has what looks like this weird railing or whatever that is. It looks like it has where you can get into this thing and drive it away. Is it a car? I called it a car on a roadway. Is it? No way to vet it. No way at all. So I could be totally off base on this thing, but it still had that look to it. Wet the whistle here. Renee Cruz, you said Project UFOs, an American television series which ran on NBC from 78 to 79, running for 2 seasons of 13 episodes each. It was based loosely on a real-life Project Blue book created by Jack Webb. I seem to me I vaguely remember that. Rock Hitch, you said 12 a.m. here, Chris. A great night. Thanks. Z-time. For me, night, the house. All right, Rock Hitch, good having you in there. Thanks for joining us. Have a great one there. Have a good weekend there, right? Renee, oh my God, 3 thumbs down actually helped the algorithm, Chris. Yeah, that's why I said they don't bother me when they put them down here. It doesn't, because they're getting an interaction on the channel. That's what they want to see, interaction. So it's not hurting the channel. If anything, it's helping it. HSTOS1AV said, funny how we can get 5 to 100 meg TIFFs from Hubble raw, but not Mars. Well, of course not. We know how that goes. Mimi said, looks like my Opel Corsa. Yeah, it could very well be, yeah. I remember having an Opel, but it wasn't a Corsa. It was I had a Mantor and and I had an American. It was the Buick Opel, I called it. But both had the Isuzu motor in them. Really love that car. I wish I could get a Mantor today in great shape. I'd love to have it. I had like the Ferrari lights. There's a 73 Mantor I had. Really love that little car. Wish I had it today. Let's see. I've heard that more than once, Pat. He said, Chris, your accent and voice sounds like Peter Griffin from Family Guy. Well, it takes place in Rhode Island, right? That's where I was born and raised. Am I really Peter Griffin? Oh, anyway, guys. So, that's my other job, by the way. DVP said, pareidolia is a NASA tactic to discredit. Well, yeah, of course. That was invented. That was just something they just threw in there. Oh, it's a pareidolia. Yeah, crap. Well, Kaplan, I remember more than one person saying this. Well, not a ton of them, but there was a few people that said, aliens wouldn't make something that looks like an Earth SUV. It's some rocks with shadows that line up funny from that perspective. How do you know that, though? Because here's the thing. Let's suppose there was a civilization on Mars as well. Now, from the photos we've been seeing, there's all kinds of artifacts that there's intelligent or was intelligent life on this planet. How would you get around other than flying? You'd have to have the wheel. There's no way around it. So either horseback, animal back, whatever way you want to choose, or flight. So there has to be something in between that. They would have to use the wheel. So again, this could be something, if it is, and this is a huge if, it's pure speculation, if this was some kind of vehicle, then it doesn't mean it has to be designed just like ours. It could be powered by plutonium, for all we know. It could be powered by something, much more sophisticated. And if we had life thousands of years ago here on Earth, again, we're like in the fifth cycle, at least according to the ancients, we're in the fifth cycle. So we could have been technologically advanced thousands and thousands of years ago. And let's suppose, again, it's just, purely speculation. And, if you were to say, okay, maybe Mars and Earth had life at the same time and we could traverse back and forth through spacecraft, wouldn't we have the same kind of technology? And even if we didn't, let's say it's pure hogwash. Okay, still, any civilization would have to have the wheel. You would think so. I find it hard to believe that they would we're getting technologically advanced. Instantly a flying machine. It doesn't make any sense. They'd have to crawl before they can run or walk. So one way or the other, they'd have to have something. Terry, you're absolutely right. Terry Kelling says, the size of the objects in photos is always going to be guesswork without a common frame of reference. Exactly. And see, again, at one point, they used to have scaling, and then they quit. Because then you could guess the size of these things with ease. But I love the fact that there's either shadow or parts of the rover in these photos. You can kind of get a guesstimation as of either A, how far these things are away, and maybe a guesstimation of maybe size, maybe a little bit. But if you have nothing in there to go by, then it's purely speculation as to what they are or how big they are, right? Sam McPeaks says, thanks for the hangout, guys. See you soon. All right, Sam, good seeing you in there. Have yourself a good weekend there, right? Tony Gibbs, you said another huge night. Congrats, Chris. This is a sin that I look forward to staying in and hanging out on the computer. Friday nights. LOL, best show in town with the best people. Oh, yeah. I totally agree. Absolutely. Yeah, arts and crafts. Yeah, I got to do that because I do have actually T-shirts you can buy, which is cool. I think it's on, like I said, I can go on my phone. I can see it right underneath my videos, so you can actually support the channel if you want to do it that way. And I've got sweatshirts and everything else, which are pretty cool. And but that would be pretty cool, yeah. And so we really need some purely speculation T-shirts for merch. Yeah, I mean, that's the best we can do, right? That's all we can do. Unless we can run up there and check the stuff out and put it on our hands, we have no idea what these things are. Miss Here said, I love that song, Wheel in the Sky. Little Journey, perhaps? Pat Owen says, Ezekiel's Wheel in the Sky. Yes, interesting story. Very interesting, with the spokes and the wheels. ABS 0303, what's going on? Good to see you there. And good day to you as well. So good day, Chris and all. Oops. Damn, wish this thing would start jumping on me here. Kaplan, you said, but I think that the shape has the outlines of modern car design fashion, and that's too unlikely. We don't know that. We have no idea. Well, here's a perfect example. Like, even though it's still here on Earth, it's kind of a lousy example, but we look back, wasn't there that hammer or that axe we found was supposed to be X amount of thousands of years old, and yet it still has the same design as we use today. Kind of weird, right? So, again, it does have that weird look to as a car. Now, is it one? Again, pure speculation. We don't know. It just had that uncanny look like one. So this thing could be a pile of parts laying there. Now, you know, what's the chance of like having a side window and what looks like wheels on the side of this thing? Something like we would have here on Earth. What's the chance of that? A rock looking like that, and it has what looks like this railing on the side of it. What's the chance of that? And again, this is in a Martian photo. Now, this could be something totally different than what I'm even saying it is. Don't care. The point is it's stuck out like a sore thumb, and it's clearly not a rock. Well, at least it doesn't look like a rock. Not the way it's sitting there, I mean, in the photo, with this weird thing. Again, it looked like a car in a roadway to me. And so that's what I called it, of course. But you can see with these other pieces. And guys, here's the other weird part. If you go to this 510, the photos, you can go to the ones prior to this as well. And you can see what looks like in the background or the back behind this thing, it looks like other square things like kind of blurred out and everything else. So is it possible that there's a range of these, whatever this thing is, all along this? I say yes, whatever it is. How's it crash? He said, love your catchphrases, Chris. I know you have to say certain things to be careful, like purely spec. Well, you do. I mean, because I can't say, wouldn't it be unfair to say, no, guys, this is absolutely a car? You can't say that. You know, I could say, yes, it absolutely looks like a car. But I can't say that it is absolutely one. And I've always said that on my channel. I'm not going to tell you people, this is what you need to believe because I believe it. No. All I can do is speculate as to what it is. It looks like a car on a freeway to me. Now, what would it be to you? It may be totally different. Like the other gentleman was just saying, Kaplan was saying, it could be a bunch of rocks that look like a car. That's a very good possibility. I can't go there and see it. So, but that's one thing I won't do it on. I know a lot of people appreciated that because a lot of channels say, no, this is what it is, so it's got to be it, and that's the way you should think. No. We're free thinkers here. So what I might say what looks like something, you guys might say something totally different, and you know what? There's no true right answer. Because, again, we can only speculate, and we can't vet any of it. So anybody's guess is as good as mine. That's the way I look at it, right? Corge Grohl, he said, I do not see any cars even in X3D, but the shapes in the background are weird. No idea what this could be, but I do not think there is a car. Well, there you go. So other people see things a little different, and I don't have a problem with that. I really don't. Because, again, I'm seeing what I see. You guys see what you see, which Will would say, what's up in the sky, 37. And it's true. It's absolutely true. Some people would perceive it a different way. Maybe the way they're seeing angles or the shadowing or whatever it may be, right? Whatever that thing is, it doesn't look like what we see here in the foreground, just simple rocks. That's just my opinion. Pat Owen says the ancient builder race was supposedly 2 billion years ago. What if they were destroyed by Tiamat? That's a good possibility. Very good possibility. What is it? Jesus is my King 68. It's true, but still speculation. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I want to believe absolutely unequivocally that that is a car on a roadway. Who wouldn't? Because that just adds kind of like flair to it. Like, oh, wow, that's cool. But that doesn't mean that's what it is. It simply looks that way. Has that look to me. Again, it may differ from you guys. But I will never cram it down somebody's throat and say, guys, this is a car on a roadway. You must believe that. No, we're not doing that on this channel. And a lot of people have told me this in the past. They appreciate it because that's all you can do is you can't vet any of it. So it is pure speculation. But yeah, by the way, guys, it is a car. So, oh. Exactly, Pat. Great question. You said if we see all of the same delusion, is it still a delusion? Yeah, is it mass hysteria? Is it mass delusion? I mean, or does it have some substance to it? Like some people, maybe half of you guys would say, yeah, it kind of does look like a car. Most of you guys, maybe the other half said, I don't see a damn car at all there. That's not a problem. I don't even have a problem with that. I don't even have an argument with it. The thing is, it's like, but what is it? And the idea is to bring it to you guys so you can actually digest it and say, yeah, what the hell is that? Maybe you can see something like some people said, well, I see what looks like people there or something. Okay. I don't see it. And maybe the people who see what looks like people don't see a car. That's what I'm saying. But whatever it is, it does look funky in the background. It doesn't look like we see here in the foreground. Let's just put it that way, right? Master Catnip's in the house. Says, cats created humans. Science facts. Tony Gibbs says, if you look just to the left of the car, there's an upright post for the railing. Yeah, exactly. You can see that. There's sections of it. There's one here, and there's one right here just barely visible at all. There's actually a line here, one here, and something right there. I'm not sure if that's a separation either, but you can see these things actually have separations. I don't know. I figured you guys, this would kind of make you scratch your head a little bit. Micronova, it's definitely a building at the back with what looks like smoke coming from it going left. Domes below and under it, and the front end of the car, quote unquote, is heading off in the distance. Well, that's what I seen. It's going off towards the back of the photo, and it looks like some things are on the side of this thing. I don't know if it's, like you're saying, like some kind of structures or some kind of weird things on the side. Who knows? This is a rather old photo. I mean, if you look at Curiosity, what are we up to now? Like 3,000? Over 3,000? This is 510. So this goes way back. Odds of Grass says, thumbs up if you haven't yet, so we can get more people watching. Absolutely. If you guys like what you see, yeah, man, especially if you're first timers here, just make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell, because we got some cool videos, and we just done a couple there on the Perseverance and got a lot more coming up. So, yeah. Refreshing. Let me see. So, again, this is 510 if you guys want to check that out. I don't know if you guys heard this too, the sound of this thing. I'm sure a lot of you guys did. And basically, it's just sounds, man. It's just wind sounds. Let me see if I can. That's part of the Rover too, by the way. And you can see it says includes Rover self-noise. And then the bottom one says sounds from Mars filters out Rover self-noise. Imagine how they can do that. Just, wait a minute, we're just going to block out the Rover sounds, but have the outside sounds. So you can hear what sounds like more like wind noise. Let me bring this all the way down to the bottom so you can see what you guys are saying here. Okay, this is the second one. This is more noise than the Rover itself. So they said there was like, I don't know if you guys remember when they had the InSight lander, right? Kind of had the same sound, like wind. Some people thought it was maybe some kind of Mars quake, if you will. And then they had them other goofy noises, or really strange noises. It sounded like something was coming from a distance, and ding, 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 and it just kept going under and then it got lower and lower and lower. So it sounded like something was coming, got underneath the Insight, and then kept going. Yeah, you can do that too. I know what you're saying, A-Starch. It's the way I said it. It made it sound like you couldn't actually isolate those. But yeah, you said easy to use a DAW to isolate a frequency. Do it all day at work. Yeah, you can do that. I mean, it's the way I said it. It's impossible, which it's not. So yeah, you can filter out certain sounds and just bring out just the actual air noise. But I thought it was really weird how they said that. They said, well, the one in the body, we were supposed to actually hear the sound of this thing in the air being basically in the descent. We were supposed to hear that, and they never did that. I don't know if you guys watched that pod where they said, well, we were supposed to do that, but we didn't get to it, and whatever. It was supposed to be part of the way to show that, but they didn't do that. Funny enough, right? So one's on the side of it, and one's on actually the mast cam, or the very top head of the mast where the cameras are and all, right? Oh, we'll get to hear the laser snap, the laser beam at rocks and stuff. It's like, and we care why? I don't think that's what that was put there for. And again, because you can isolate these sounds other than what you're hearing, because they said you can hear the hydraulic pump, and I think that's what that was. Very faintly, you can hear a high-pitched sound. So it might have been the pump in the actual Perseverance rover itself. What I thought was interesting is that, you can bet it was put there for more than just the sounds from the rover. Even the wind noise, you can bet it's been put there for more than that. Maybe they expect to hear something. Maybe they heard something or seen something, and they wanted to hear. So in other words, let's say it was an insect, a bird, or whatever, just running water. Who the hell knows? You can bet those microphones have been put on there just for more than just that. Planetary Protector says, hey, peeps, can't stay. I'm on vacation. Awesome. Hope you're having a good time there. Man, would I kill to have a vacation right about now. No problem with that. Urbana, you said, wait, if there's wind, wouldn't there be oxygen? Not necessarily. You could just say basically all that is cold fronts and warm fronts, and just causing this updraft, and you get winds. So not necessarily you have to have oxygen. Jay McGuffey, yeah, I'm hoping so too. You said, yeah, some good audio to come soon, hopefully. Yeah, well, I don't know if I'd hold my breath, but yeah, exactly, Mimi. I'm hoping that they will. But Mimi, you said, remember the drip, drip, drip sound? Yeah, remember it sounded like it was going dook, 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 dook. It was going faster and faster. Then it's like slowed down. I just said, what could do that? I have to find that recording. I know I got it on this computer. Well, maybe it's on the other one. Yeah, Renee, that would have been pretty interesting. He said, where's the video of Percy flying to Mars? Yeah, I mean, if this is, we don't, you can imagine if they actually did a real, camera on board, which they could have easily done, right, on the actual outside of the capsule, because obviously this thing was encased, right, the actual Perseverance rover. But picture that thing looking at Mars as it's approaching. Couldn't do it. Blue sky. Land masses, probably bodies of water. Can't do it. That's a no-no. Olin Creel says, Olin. I was going to say the same name. Elon knows. Yeah. Oh, you can bet. Yeah, he's in with the family, if you will. He knows. CC my Harley D. What's going on? Good to see you in there. Dime a Dozen's in there. What's going on, Dime a Dozen? No. or DM a dozen, whatever way that's pronounced. Let me see. This here, it says, Mars is well known for dust storms, so there is substantial atmosphere. There's at least, like I said, we know it gets cold and when it gets hot. So we know that it creates turbulence in the air, right? You get cold and hot air currents. So that must mean there must be blistering storms in the morning and at night. Am I making sense here, guys, or do you think it would be different than that? Because, you know, again, it's really cold at night, according to them. Sun comes up. It creates a lot of heat. Then you get turbulent. You got all these dirt devils and every other darn thing, right? Now, it's warmed up during the day. These things would die off. As soon as the dusk is coming along, all of a sudden the temperatures start to drop rapidly. Cold air now, boom, and interacts with it. Another dust storm or it gets windy as hell again. That would make sense to me. But yet, you know, these rovers still continue to function with no problem at all. Now, I understand the rovers that had solar panels on them. That would make sense because, you know, like they said, one of them, well, the Opportunity got a dust storm, a real bad dust storm, and pretty much, you know, covered the solar panels, which I don't know why there hasn't been another one that could have just cleared it off. Even regular wind would blow it off eventually. So, but regardless, that's what I think would happen. What's going on, Scratch? Good to see you in there. Yeah, there's a total of it, Renee. I think there's 26 or 28, but on Percy itself, there's only 20. There's video of it flying from Earth to Mars, but they won't show it. I'm sure they did. Yeah, I'm sure they got that, and they've got the video to it. But yeah, there's 20 on the rover itself, and plus we got the ones that, you know, from the crane looking down. We got it from the rover looking up. We've got so on and so forth. So yeah. And yet we still get real crappy photos. What do you think of that? Justy said, first sight from landing square was blue sky as soon as on the ground, red. Yeah, what I think is really goofy, too, is you got do you guys see the real pinkish colors of the aerial views? I'm looking, what the hell is that? My God. Sad. James, thanks again for your support, brother. I do appreciate it. You said, Chris, as I said before about me trying to compare your Cydonia images, then NASA blurring out evidence that you made visible. Perseverance blurs coming. Oh, absolutely. They've already done that. They've already started on that. All right, there we go. But yeah, I mean, they already started blurring out certain parts of the photo, the background. They're just kind of really messing around with it. It's sad. And I knew that wasn't going to change. Now, according to what I just read today, I don't think the rover's even moved yet. It's basically done its, stretching out. It's moving its wheels. It's still doing all kinds of stuff. And all it did was just turn its mass cam, right? And just took photos all the way around it. So it hasn't really started to actually drive yet. So that'll be interesting to see once it starts actually driving. Mars, the second Genesis, says the wind is the swamp gas. That would explain it. Exactly, Equalizer. You said they don't need solar. They have a miniature plutonium reactor on board. Exactly. So the other ones absolutely did, of course. All three of them, because we had the Sojourner, as I showed earlier, and of course we had the Spirit and Opportunity. So, yeah. But these new ones, yeah, they're nuclear powered. They don't need it. I think they produce like 150 watts coming out of those things. And I'm trying to remember if they actually had like a battery to charge this thing during any time they want to, obviously. And then at night it would actually still function, so even if it was somehow got interrupted by power or whatever, they needed the extra power. But regardless of it, because it's producing the power, it has to be actually stored. So, my guess is they got a battery pack in this thing. I'm almost positive I read that, but I could be wrong. But regardless, it's still pretty neat. I mean, just see how these things are built. Most sophisticated vehicles on Earth are now on Mars. So they can function by themselves. They can drive around by themselves. Total autonomous. So they can do it all, man. The same thing with the helicopter. Same thing. Jay McGuffey says the discoveries will be covered up. Well, the good thing about it is if we could try to uncover some of them, and of course it's only a teeny bit of it. You guys know that, right? We're not going to see a whole lot of it, but we will be able to bring out some of these things, and they're interesting regardless, right? Just still cool to see. Diamond Dozen, you were talking to Josh D, said, so if you put an EV vehicle on Mars, that's what it would sound like. Well, you can bet it's got an electric pump, which it sounds like, and because I have an EV. So, and you'll hear like sounds from the actual converter and all this other stuff. You have like just different sound of it. You'll get that. So they even said that before, actually, I think it was while it was on its way to Mars, they said something about it being... They said that you would actually hear the actual hydraulic pump in it. So, really interesting, pretty cool. But I don't want to hear about the Rover. I want to hear the other things they're hearing. And of course, that's a no-no. We can almost bet on. Scratch, you said, your question was, they said, what I don't understand is it takes months to get to Mars, so by the time they've got there, done whatever they got to do, and then come back, surely they'd have huge muscle and bone loss. Well, as far as, like I said, when they finally do send humans to Mars, because all there is machines and landers and basically things like that right now, but once they do that, you can bet that they're going to have them like fortified calcium and everything else. And of course, they'll have to exercise like they do on the ISS to help keep the muscle strong so you don't have muscle atrophy and stuff like that. So you will, they will be probably like top notch before they even start to go in case they do lose some kind of mass. But you can bet somehow they're going to have something that's going to be a supplemental or it's going to keep them at least somewhat safe from all that. But, and, of course, they'd have to exercise somehow. There's just no way around it. And if they don't, yeah, good luck to them trying to stand up once they get there. Stephen Wagner, what's going on? He said, Chris, it is amazing that NASA says we have the most sophisticated cameras and up-to-date technology on Perseverance, and yet my camera takes better picture than this crap they are throwing at us. Absolutely agree with you, Stephen. Well, here's the thing. They said that the better photos are going to come. Okay. So are we talking about the ones that are delayed? Meaning, hey, why don't we do this? Why don't we make a program, which they already have? Why don't we make a great quality photo, and we'll cover up everything we need to cover up? Again, I've said this before. I would rather have the low-res photos because you can see exactly where they manipulated. Because when you see the really, really good, pristine photos, nothing in them to see. So people go, well, you're looking at the lousy photos, so clearly you're going to see things. No, you can see where they've actually manipulated and centered the areas. And the new one you can't, or the very pristine one, because they've already done all the work they need to do to it, so it looks like it's absolutely never been messed with. I'd rather see the low res, and I don't mean a super low res. I mean like a thumbnail. I mean something that's just slightly low res and not quite high res. So you can actually see the actual imperfections in the photo, right? And the censoring and so on and so forth. Master Catnip, thank you very much for your support. I do appreciate you. He said, your question is, do you think the $2.7 billion rover, or Perseverance, has an advanced Boston Robotics robot on it doing reconnaissance that is top secret? No, but you can bet that they're going to. You can almost guarantee it. And that wouldn't even surprise me if they did, to be truthful with you. Because all they got to do is just lower that thing to the ground, right? Just kind of have it come out of the belly. And if you've seen that thing, which reminds me, if you've seen that thing from the bottom, I think there was like an animation they were showing. So while it was coming down, you can see the parachute open. And, of course, you can see then the crane, the cover, comes off. And then the crane is separated from that cover. And you can see under the underbelly, there's a big square compartment underneath that thing. Wouldn't that be pretty wild if they had something like that, like their little robot dog or something to that effect? Why not? I mean, it could literally run all over the ground and everything else, and it can be autonomous, like you can see them over at Boston Robotics, right? I think one of them named Spot. I think it was the yellow one. It was named Spot, wasn't it? And why couldn't they have something like that on there? It'd be perfect for there. All they could do is put that nuclear powered as well. Again, thank you for your support. I do appreciate you. Olin Creel, you said, yeah, better, but still censored. Oh, you can bet that's where they're going to be. They're just going to make them look so pristine, because I've heard this argument before. Oh, man, you know, you're looking at that low res. What about the new one they just come out with? Well, it's the same thing with the moon ones. If you go to the original moon, they were kind of a low res, but then they redid them. They touched them up and made them look really pristine. Like the one I show, like large, or I put miles high, I think it was called miles high structures on the moon. And then when you look at the new one, it's smooth and it's right over those structures, and it has these weird streaks going through it. Clearly, it was done after to hide, you know, whatever's in that photo, but they don't take into consideration how many people grabbed these photos and put them online before they redid this. So therefore, it's out. The original one's out, and it's going to be out forever. So when I enhanced it and brought up the exposure in those areas, it showed structures that were huge. But now you look at the supposed high quality, suddenly it looks like trash, meaning, oh, those things are not there anymore. You need to look at the high definition one. Bull. They've done that for a reason. They've been doing that to a lot of Martian and moon photos. There you go, Ricardo. Low res, high res. I remember when we considered VGA 640 by 480 was as high res. Then came SVGA up and the XGA up. 4K, 5K, then I got 8K now. So I mean, yeah. Well, they shouldn't call it high res. They should call it higher res, right? James, you said, Chris, it's amazing that we don't hear the noise from the moon with all the activity going on up there. I mean, if the seismometers pick up the vibrations, or the seismometers, I think you're trying to say, picked up by the vibrations from the Apollo, ringing like a bell, incident, yeah. So, I mean, it's going by purely probably vibration. That's what kind of vibrated, so I heard the sound that way, and that's what it's registered to do. But they said, you know, obviously sound doesn't travel in a vacuum, but it could travel through a substance, meaning through a metal or something like that, so you would hear that. But like I said, I know they're not telling the truth, all the truth about Mars. We know that. And, you know, so if they're not telling the whole truth, and we know the sky is blue, and many times it is, well, we've seen it actually change right before us. Remember we were talking about this, and somebody said to me, well, Chris, they did say there's blue sky. But yeah, it changed immediately within a second or 10 seconds when the InSight lander landed. So what gives there? So when you've got blue sky, oh, wow, look, it's a blue sky out there. 10 seconds later, wham, they threw that red filter on, the lens filter, and all of a sudden everything was red. So is the sky bluer a lot more often, or is it always blue more than what they're saying? That's what we got to think about, you know? Oh, Renee, come on now. He said Spot is a demonic AI robotic doggy. I'd love to have one of those. Those things are neat. Heck, you only live once, right? Now, that thing's probably kind of creepy, Renee. He said Sophia is a Japanese robotics symbiotic, or cybernetic, rather. AI android, that's creepy. Yeah, the way she talks and everything, you just know she's not real. But intelligent, of course, people are, you know, like Elon, he's just really, he's afraid. He'll tell you he's afraid of AI. And if you don't, you know, if you put all kinds of safeguards in there at some point where, I mean, it's more like a manual cutoff than it is a software where this thing can get smart and route itself around that safety, then you're fine. But yeah, yeah, it kind of does creep you out a little bit. Let me see here. Richard M. He said Elon integrates all of his project to create synergy. He's already experimenting robotic dogs in Texas. Yeah, I mean, why do you think a lot of these companies are clamoring to make these most advanced robots, right? For a reason. Because these people, they got these, like a lot of these space companies or military, they're looking for a particular AI or robot or whatever to do whatever task they want it to do. So it makes sense for all these guys clamoring and biting at the bit to try to get that, contract. It makes sense to me. So that's what they're doing. That's what it comes down to. So it wouldn't surprise me if they said, oh, yeah, the next thing is, and if they don't already have it, like we were talking about earlier, that they don't already have one of these things on Mars. It wouldn't surprise me. Hey, Bobby Pentland, what's going on? Good to see you there. I appreciate your support as always there, brother. You said, hey, Chris, good to be here. I'm glad you're here as well, Bobby. I didn't think, I was going to say, were you here earlier? Because I didn't see you. But yeah, I'm glad you stopped in. Pat Owen, he said, is Elon's Tesla still orbiting Mars? I don't believe that it is. I could be wrong. I know it was supposed to go around there, and I don't think they gave a crap whether the thing kept going. It was basically just to say, hey, I think we can do it, so therefore, guess what we're going to do? So I think that's what happened, to be truthful. Olin Creeley said, Chris, your question was, do you know who's centering this chat? I don't know. Is there anyone? It's all good. Let me see. I just went back up here a little bit. Scratch, you said, who's deleting my text? I don't know. Is there somebody I didn't see her, what you had written. Unless, of course, you wrote something where it says it's held for review, which I don't see it. I'm going back up and I'm not seeing it. Yeah, just write it again. I'm sure it'll be on there. Jay McGuffey said, good to see no political bullcrap. Yeah, I hear you, man. It gets old. Not to mention it'll put you to sleep. Ricardo, liar, yep. The color of this pen is red, written with blue ink. Remember that damn pen is blue. That was a good movie. Yep, good old NASA. Like I said, I love everything about NASA. I don't like the idea that they're withholding information from the public, though. But as far as everything else about them, I don't have a problem with that. I actually love NASA. And any other space agencies who's trying to be spacefaring and trying to find the truth. The problem is I wish they'd divulge that and help us out with it, too. And just give us a little clue. Like I said, I know a lot of these guys, and somebody had said this. One of my buddies said he was doing videos like this, and he said right out, he said, I guess, I don't know how he found out, but he could find out a way that he could see who's viewing, other than, people actually commenting, but he could see who's viewing, and one of them was NASA. And it would not surprise me, and I don't have a problem with that, I just wish they'd just be a little bit more forthcoming in their in the truth, as far as for the public. Because I don't think it's right to be truthful with you guys, right? Let me just check something here real quick. Let me see here. Okay. I was just checking something on my phone, guys. Sorry about that. James, you said, Chris, in the Mars vid today at 5:37, you have just circled an object on the ridge line. If you look to the left outside the circle, you can clearly see a structure like an H or cross-shaped object easily. I'll have to go back and look at that. See, that's what I'm saying. That's what I love about everybody who pays attention. They're just not... I love that my subs are, just more... They think. It's the best way to put it. I mean, most people are just like, you can see they just follow everything the person says in the video, and it's like, no, I don't care that you guys do that. It's great that you do that, but I also like critical thinking minds. Like I said, if you said, Chris, that's not, like when I showed that it would look like a vehicle on there, that's not a vehicle. That's some kind of assortment of rocks. Okay. I don't have a problem with it. I'm not going to curse you for it. The point is, it's like, I bring this anomaly, I bring it to the video, and I say, this is what I think it looks like. And then, of course, I say, you guys tell me what you think. And then, of course, you give me your comments down below. and I mean that because I think everybody's going to have a certain perspective and see what they see. Most people may agree. Most people say, I don't see that at all. That's not a problem. Again, I find it. I see what it is. I enhance it, bring it out, and then we all have a look at it. And make up your own decision. Make up your own mind, right? And if you read this too, this is pretty interesting. The Pathfinder landed the rover using an airbag landing system and innovative pedal design, which it opened up like a flower, right? So all of these 4 solar panels open up like a giant flower, which have been used since various incarnations to land other rovers on the Red Planet. Sojourner spent 83 days of a planned 7-day mission exploring the Martian terrain, snapping photographs, and taking chemical, atmospheric, and other measurements. Now, keep in mind this little bitty little thing did that, which is really weird because you think the lander would do that. Would make more sense. You can put all the instruments on it. The lander, formerly named the Carl Sagan Memorial Station, following its successful touchdown, and the rover, named after civil rights pioneer Sojourner Truth, both outlived their design lives. The lander by nearly 3 times and the rover by 12 times. Mars Pathfinder returned 2.3 billion bits of information, including more than 16,500 images from the lander and 550 images from the rover. I don't know how many of you guys seen, but I haven't seen a whole lot of these things, as well as more than 15 chemical analysis of rocks in soil and extensive data on winds and other weather factors. This panoramic, see, that would explain the background because you don't see that. Remember the lines we saw in that, what looked like, well, it was supposed to be the little city in the background? Yeah, you don't see those lines there, but yet they're there. And the only way you could do that was to enhance it and see that. View of Pathfinder's Aris Vallis landing site shows Sojourner rover in the distance. The Mars Pathfinder mission completed the last successful data transmission cycle at 6:23 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time on September 27, 1997. So, thought that was pretty interesting. Pretty cool. And, of course, there's that piece of crap. I mean, that photo we looked at. This one here, Sol 9, which I think is complete crap, as I said. I don't know if you guys remember this, too. I brought this up because I found this on my hard drive. Do you remember they were talking about the Soyuz, part of the actual ISS, where I'm not a big fan of the channel, Paranormal Crucible, whatever the hell it's called. But I love the actual video that they had where it shows like that. I don't know if you guys remember that, where it had that woman astronaut that was up there. She says, "Oh my God!" And she goes, "Look at that space!" And the guy goes, "Shh." So I'm going to play that for you guys, and it's bizarre. When she had said that, that was cool. So listen carefully, because then I'm going to just stop it right there because I don't want to, Let me see here. All right, let me make sure the volume's up on this. It is. Okay, listen. Let me see if it'll play here. She literally says, "Oh my God, there's a spaceship!" Shh. And it literally, they literally take that out. Let me do that again here. It's pretty cool. Listen to this. I should have it up. Let me turn it up a little bit more on this end here. I think we're all the way up here on the speaker. We are. Okay. Oh my God, she goes, "Oh my God, is that a spaceship?" Shh. And the guy says that to her. That was wild. And I'm saying, wow, that is just really wild because, when you hear that, she's actually shocked. She goes, "Oh my God, is that a space?" Shh. So that was pretty funny, but cool at the same time, because this is supposed to be a woman who probably never been up there and sees this thing and it just kind of like loses it. And I don't blame her. I would too if it was the very first time I seen one.
Oh my God.
I think that was pretty neat. Oh my God, is that a space? And she actually said space shit, and then he said shh. So they must have known, obviously, they're being, what do you call it? They know they were being recorded, right? It was live audio. So, yeah. Well, no, a lot of these, Pat, had, like, they were black and white, and they weren't, like, the highest. Because this is from the Soyuz part of the ISS, so, and it has its own module, of course. But I don't know if it was actually going up there. I don't remember. I'm not going to play the whole thing because you get copyrighted on these. But I wanted you to hear that part because that was interesting to me. And you can literally hear her say, "Oh my God, is that a space shh?" And she says shh, and she's just starting to say ship. You can actually hear her say it, just about the whole word. And that's when you hear shh. So that tells me, come on, they're all over the place. And when she reacted the way she did, she knew the difference between what we have and what they probably have. So that was pretty neat. Wildwood, yeah, you're right about that. The stuff the astronauts see must be insane. I totally agree with you. Because to me, it's just some of these things that they have seen, whether it be the people, the astronauts going to the moon, or whatever they're on the ISS, they're going to see these things flying around constantly. They have to. I don't have that one, Wildwood. I don't have it, at least on the computer. I think I got it on the other computer on the other hard drive, but with the tether incident. That was really neat because the tether, and if you could correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it was a mile in length, and this thing kind of got away from the craft, and this thing was just floating, and you could see these one was a real large craft that went underneath the tether, and some were over the tether. So that was pretty interesting, to say the least. Scratch says STS-75. It might have been, I wasn't sure of the number, but a lot of these STS missions, believe it or not, were when we had the actual space shuttles. And they were still building a lot of this ISS. That's how the ISS was built. These shuttles took them up there, took the parts anyway, and of course took the modules and then, of course, connected and put them all together like a giant erector set on outside in space. Yeah, so you guys heard it too, right? When you actually hear, wait, I'm going to play it one more time, and you can actually see, "Oh my God, is that a spaceship?" And then he goes, "Shh," at the same time she's finishing that.
Oh my God.
That was just bizarre. He's like, "Shh." Like, in other words, don't get all freaked out. Don't say anything else, kind of just like, just let it go kind of thing. And I just think that's wild. Let's see. You're saying the STS-75. Okay, I got you. Yep. Let's see. I'm going to just call you Kish for short, if you don't mind. Kisharil. And I don't want to really completely botch your name, so forgive me for that. He said, "I've watched a couple of interviews with ex-NASA employees." Oh, let me get it back here. Where them two people say almost the exact same thing by saying that our bosses in NASA would tell us that we have to airbrush those images. Yeah, I mean, this goes way back to these moon photos. I mean, where they airbrushed them out. They would put an acetate over these things, and they can put whatever they want on the acetate and block it out and then take the photo of it. So they were doing all kind of crazy things, right? And you can see at the top of this video, it says ESA, or ESA, depending on how you pronounce it. So that was from them at the time, and she literally says it. So they must have been doing this live, and boom. And it's like, wow. Let's see. James, you said, Chris, the astronaut story at Musgrave was played that and asked what did he think. And he said straight away, well, that was probably the first time she saw one, but probably not her last, and smiled. Exactly. Well, again, what would you do if you're there and you're just looking out the window, you see this thing go by, you're like, oh my God. I mean, I would have probably reacted the same way. Is that a UFO? Shh. So, makes perfect sense to me. Let me see, this thing kind of jumped on me here. Bushcore, you taking off? You said, sorry, all, gotta go. My eyes are shutting. Great night. Peace out. All right, Mr. Corey, you have yourself a good night. Have a good weekend. We'll talk to you soon there. No, let me see where we're at. Master Catnap, he said, President Eisenhower in 1952 signed a treaty with several races off-world and rejected the more benevolent ones. Various whistleblowers released info. Yeah, there's a whole lot of that about President Eisenhower, right? And, of course, her daughter speaks out about it and everything else. Oh, his daughter, rather. Speaks out about it. And it's really, really interesting. So, this stuff's here. I don't know why they want to constantly cover this up. I think it's because if they just constantly don't mention it, people will forget about it and just let it rest. And most people are going, no, not going to let that rest. Now when you got women astronauts going,
Oh my God.
yeah, probably not. People are going to be, they want to know what she saw. And the way she says it, is that a spaceship? Clearly she was saying that. So, and like you said, what you guys are just saying, she gasped for it like, oh my God. So she clearly seen this thing and it totally threw her off, took her by surprise, right? Pat, yeah, I totally agree with you. You said we deserve full disclosure now. Dime a dozen. Come on, Chris. What are they really digging up on Mars? You know what? I've always said this and this is based on what we see in the photos, that they literally, this is a recon mission. They're simply going to the planet, looking at everything that was there. A lot of it looks like it's been blown to pieces, and I'm sure some of it's not. They're literally going through the wreckage, the ruins, checking out anything they can. If there's any technologies, they're going to look it over, maybe try to take some of it if they can, or at least analyze it to the point where they know what it is. And that's what they're doing basically in a nutshell. Perseverance is no different. They landed in another area of this part of the civilization. Maybe that's not so wrecked, and maybe it's more intact, and maybe that's why they want to go. I don't know. Truthfully, like I said, from what I'm seeing, what I've seen in these photos tells me that that's what they're there for. Now, again, they may be looking for these samples, these core samples, trying to figure out, clearly there's, no life like it used to be on Mars, but you've got this mud soil level, and then there's probably organics below that. And if they do dig this up and find this out, well, then they know there was obviously, greenery or whatever else was on the planet, organics or whatever it may be. So if there was a civilization on Mars, then they want to know what they ate too. Was it a lot like Earth? Did it have the same, kind of organics that we have? Great possibility, right? Scratch, your question was that recording from STS-115? Truthfully, I don't remember, so I'm not going to say yay or nay. It might have been. In fact, that kind of rings a bell, but I'm not going to swear to it. I'm not going to say yes. But it's something you just have to find out. It's on Paranormal Crucible. I'm like I said, I'm not a big fan because a lot of stuff is, they either bite off other people's channels and their finds, or some of the stuff is made up. But this was a very interesting one. I like this one here, because that just shows, it's just, you don't see her reaction, but you definitely hear it. And that's just crazy. Pat, good one. Feed was cut quicker than a Biden press conference. So much for Mars and is ruined civilization. I totally agree. And at least that's what we're judging as far as from the pictures, right? It's kind of like the moon. What I'm really, really blown away but on the moon is that you see the structures there. Okay. You have to ask yourself, who put those there? How long were they there? What did these structures consist of? What was in them? So there's a whole range of questions you got to ask yourself. It's just wild to even, your mind wanders, and it's just really wild to just whatever these things could be, right? You're just kind of like, wow, what the hell could that, what were they used for? How long have they been there? Who put them there? The list goes on and on and on. What were they used for? Whatever it might have been. Wildwood, you said the big question is, if they find something crazy, will they even tell us? Probably not. Like I said, they're gonna go baby steps for the public. They're gonna say, well, we either found fossilized, microorganisms, or they're not. What do you call it? They're not. Maybe they're alive. Maybe they're not fossilized. But they're gonna start off very small, right? And then they're gonna go to, like I said, I think they'll go to like some moss on a rock. Is like, oh, it's indigenous. We found something that kind of looks like it's like in between the rocks a little bit, and they're gonna just slowly get into it. And I think most of us would be dead and would be compost by the time they ever come out with some kind of truth about it, which is sad, really. But what I love the idea is that we're getting to see a small part of what's on Mars, and that's what it's all about. So that's the real reason for doing the channel, because it's just something, it's a passion of mine to bring this stuff out, because I see so much of it, and I just want to bring it out myself. So, yeah. I'd like to be able to do a lot more of these for you guys. And I'll tell you what, the way my job's going, it may not last very long. One of them's got to give. It's just, it takes a toll on you guys, I'll be honest with you. Between coming out of work, coming straight here, doing this, and then you just go to bed after you're eating dinner. So it's like kind of like that weird thing going on, right? Where it just takes up a lot of your time. But the way that people work lately, just want to just quit the thing and be done with it. The job, that is. Mimi says that we are not going to tell you we found a city in spaceships. No, definitely not. Josh D said, drip, drip, drip. That's pretty much what it comes down to. Thomas, you said the next planet from Mars is Jupiter, 500 million kilometers. The Earth is around 80 million. So where would you go if you were on Mars with limited resources in a crisis time? Exactly. Oops. Scratch, you said, look for the video called Boomerang UFO Capture, latest SpaceX launch video a few minutes back, and tell me what that is. What's going on, philosopher searching for extraterrestrials? Good to see you in there. Well, that's pretty much it, Cord Grolt. You said they found a lot of crazy stuff, showed it in raw images, and told nothing. Well, pretty much, right? That's what it comes down to. Willward, you said, Wildwood, rather. You do awesome work. Thank you for all you do. Well, I appreciate that. Like I said, it's just something I like to do. I mean, it's, it does take up a lot of my time between the work, my regular job, and this. It's like, like I said, the way the work's been going, I just want to ditch it bad. But like I said, you got to make that money. That's what sucks. And, you're not going to make as much on this at the moment, because we're being blacklisted, which doesn't help. And so you got to make at least as much as your job, if not more. So at this point, that's not the case. Yeah, Wildwood, you said evidence of past civilization is not something I can ever see NASA admitting. Yeah, I totally agree. Diamond Dozen, you said, Chris, don't ever stop. We need this. Well, I agree. It's just like it's nerve-wracking, to be honest with you. Well, like I said, it just takes a lot of your time, right? Like I took off today, which is my normal day off. It's supposed to be off anyway, but I have worked 6 days a week. I'll be working tomorrow. It's going to be another busy day. So I'll be getting off here soon because I got a big day tomorrow. But then, like I said, it's just 6 days a week. And it's like, but my normal day is supposed to be Fridays off. And it felt so good not to actually go to work. It was just awesome. So I can actually put that other video out for you guys. I can find some other stuff. It's just more time, the more videos I can make. But you're at that weird catch-22, you know what I mean? Where, you know, you'd like to make more videos so you can make as much as you make at your other job, but you can't because you're working your other job. So it's kind of like you can't put out these videos like you'd like to. So, but we're getting there. That's for sure. All right, Mimi. Good seeing you. He said, I'm taking off. Chris, thank you for streaming. Good night, everyone. Sleep well and stay safe. You do the same, Mimi. Hope you and the family do the same thing. Dr. C. Smith, he said, Chris, we all appreciate you. I appreciate you guys too, man. You know, that's what this channel's about. It's all about you guys. Again, if there wasn't no subs, there'd be no channel, right? So kudos to you guys for, you know, being with the channel and hanging in there with us. Because that's what it's all about, you know. I enjoy doing these, and I enjoy doing these Friday night hangouts. It's just awesome. If I had to choose, it'd be this over the other job, to be truthful with you guys. So, but at this point, financially wise, you just can't do that. Now, some people said, oh, what about a Patreon? Believe it or not, what's funny about it, I got a Patreon. I think I set up in 2017. Never made it live or active. I was just, no big deal. But, you know, sometimes you just go, yeah, you don't want to be like a lot of these other channels. Yeah, I do, you know, monetize my videos because it takes time to put these together. So, you know, I think it deserves a little something, right? So I do that. I've made no bones about that. And it helps to offset, you know, maybe a little on the electric bill or whatever. And it's fine. But now you got to go, okay, now I got to choose. If I got to get over from my regular job, then I got to make this one happen. So I could, because it'd be making a lot more videos, right? But it's that weird trade-off. It's just, like I said, it's a catch-22 kind of thing. All right, Ricardo's taking off too. He said, good night, folks. Good to go. I got to go. It's been about 3 hours. As always, flies by. Thanks for being a great host. Well, I appreciate it, Ricardo. We're going to be all doing that anyway, so we're going to all jump off here. And like I said, it's always a great night, guys. We don't even realize the time goes by. We're just having conversation here. And I just looked up. I went, wow, it's already 3 o'clock. I mean, if I'm thinking 8:03. It's actually what it was. But I'm saying, wow, it's already 8 o'clock. My God. Seriously? And you don't even realize it goes by. It's that crazy, right? So that's just awesome. And so, yeah, I mean, it's like I said, I come here and I was like, I look forward to it. I said, you know, I want to sit down and have some conversation with these guys, talked about whatever. And I've decided to bring you guys a couple older picks this time, see what you guys thought about them. And we had a great time doing that. So that was cool, you know. Wet the whistle. There we go. We're working. So, yeah, I mean, it's great to be able to do this. And I prefer doing this over what I do at work because it's so, my God, it's so physically demanding. And I've been working since I was probably like 6 or 7. My mom had a store, so I was always constantly moving stuff in and out of the store. She used to do goofy flea markets and stuff like that. Always something physical, always. So your body's like, okay, you need to stop now, quickly. It's kind of like, you know, but it doesn't matter. I've always worked. It doesn't bother me to work. But at some point, you know, if the other people in the job are making it harder on you because they're not coming in for whatever the case is, it wears you out. It really does. I'm sure you guys have had that same kind of thing going on where you're like a hardworking person and these people are just, I don't give a damn kind of attitude. And next thing you know, most of the work falls on the other people that are working. So it's not cool, you know. But anyway, guys, great hangout. As always, you guys are awesome. Like I said, I look forward to on a Friday evening just checking in and having a good time with you guys, just talking about just about anything. Yeah, I mean, anything, space, NASA, whatever it may be, the new photos. And there's more coming out, believe it or not, so stay tuned for that. There's a whole bunch of it more. We're going to try to find out what's really hidden in here. But I think where the gold mine's going to lie is when this thing starts to roll. And it's supposed to be doing it, I think, soon, real soon. Start actually moving forward or reverse, whatever they want to do with it. But it's supposed to stop moving, which is going to be awesome. Because this thing landed in quite a large valley, right? Or it's like an ocean or old river. Well, it's an old lake bed, right? So there's going to be a lot of interesting things in there when this thing starts rolling. And it's going to be awesome. So I can't wait for that. So definitely be looking for more of these. And if you guys have other things you've seen in these photos, submit them to me at marsanomalies@aol.com. I know some people laugh at me, go, you still got AOL? Man, it's so like 1980s. I go, even my son said that to me. I said, listen, it's an email. What difference does it make? As long as they can get to me. So I don't give a crap. So anyway, good spending time with you guys. Let me go ahead and do this here. Oh, there we are. So good time, good times as always, spending time with you guys. It's awesome. On the way out, if you guys don't mind, hit that thumbs up. And like I said, if you guys are just actually chilling here just for the first time, just make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell so you guys will be aware or be abreast of any new videos coming out. So we got so much of this. Some people have been asking me about the moon stuff, and I said, well, I haven't really been able to do it because I have so much now on our plate because we got the Perseverance rover now. We still got the Curiosity. I got some people sending some stuff in, like Leatherneck Joe just sent me that last video I just did. So, it's just awesome. Just people just really on these photos, looking at these things. So if you got something, submit it. I'll be happy to share it. If there's anything to the photo, it's got to be clear enough where we can all see it. In other words, like a lot of times I'll look at a photo and go, oh, wow, this is so right in your face. All I got to do is just enhance a little bit, bring it out more, and it'll pop. And then there's things that it's so vague that I go, it's not worth it to me. It's not. Because if I could barely see it, I sure in heck don't want to make a video about it. So, I'll be honest and truthful with you guys. If you say, hey, Chris, this is what I found, I'll go, man, there's really no meat in the bone. And I'll be honest with you, or, man, great stuff, great eye, let's do this. So, I'll be totally honest with you guys. I won't lie to you guys. I'll just be straight up. And we'll go from there, right? So, Frank Centurion, good to see you in there. There's a couple others that just jumped in there. We actually are jumping off, guys. So, sorry about that. But, we will definitely be doing this. If everything goes right, we'll be on here next Friday, as always. So, anyway, guys, great night. You guys are awesome. Much love to all of you guys. Thank you for the support. I don't care what support it is support, and it helps the channel. And just talking support, saying, you're doing great work. That's support as far as I'm concerned. And it's just awesome. So you guys, thank you for that. Much appreciated from my heart. But I'm going to let you guys rock and roll. I'm going to jump over this. Got a long day tomorrow. I'm going to knock it out. And then we're going to start turning these things out more and more for you guys. So stay tuned. Anyway, guys, have a great night. I'm going to leave this on. It's, 8:08? At least 8:08. We'll leave it to 15 on here. You guys can still chat it up a little bit more. And there you go. And then we'll just shut it down. Anyway, guys, have yourself a good one there. Have a great weekend. Be safe. And we'll see you guys soon. Peace.